Heads Horror Podcast. We are back. It is Halloween Eve. Sorry, guys, by the time you hear this, it's going to be too late for you. November 1st has come and gone, the most depressing day of the year. I can't contain my excitement. It's Halloween fucking Eve. It's Beggar's Night, right? Is that what this shit's called?
Devil's Night.
Devil's Night? Well, my daughter's going to something called Beggar's Night tonight, so I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is. Call it whatever you want to call it. We're going to get ready to go trick-or-treating here very soon. These guys are dressing up. I'm Dave Z, of course. I'm here with these guys here, and they're dressing up as a... Brandon's dressing up as a schmeckle, and Christian's dressing up as Captain Canuck.
Yeah, so, Captain Canuck. That's my tagline.
Does he exist?
Well, he does now. Captain Canuck.
Wait a minute. I was trying to make jokes. I was trying to make a reference that each of you would understand. So apparently, this Captain Canuck thing doesn't really exist. I just made it up.
Is there a Captain Canuck? I didn't think there was. If you're educating me now, if there's actual Captain Canuck.
I heard there was, and I heard it was like a national thing in Canada. It was like a...
Let me Google this. Captain Canuck bullshit.
That's what I was going to do. But
yeah.
Go ahead. You want to to the punch?
Yeah, I'll Google it. I don't want you doing anything extra with your internet connection on that end.
I found him. And I was right, dude.
Captain
you see
Canuck.
What it says?
Well, no, I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, fucking... Well, I'm on it. I'll read it. Damn it.
There's a whole comic book.
See? He's busting my balls about my internet, and fucking he can't even get to Google. Holy shit. Canadian Google. Yeah, Captain Canuck. You see him? He's wearing red and white. Wow, and you never heard...
He looks like Deadpool.
Like a total ripoff. Instead of just the Canadian flag is wedged in as his logo.
Well, what year did he come out? Maybe 1975.
Holy shit. How did I not know about this guy?
So Deadpool fucked him? I don't know. What kind of Canadian are you? What is this?
He has the power. He has the power of apology.
Yeah. I'm super sorry.
Very good. Wow. I love it. Okay, so that ended up being a successful joke. Okay, Captain Canuck. So
in time.
But it still resulted in something. What about a schmeckle? What's a schmeckle?
Schmeckle is a penis.
Okay, so I was right. Okay, all right.
Sometimes a small penis.
Yeah.
So, again, you were right.
Yeah.
See? A schmeckle. Okay, while I'm on
shoe
that
fits.
topic. Right. So you're a small dick.
I'm a tiny wiener.
I didn't say you had one. I just said you are one. But that's not bad, right?
No.
See?
I'd rather be a tiny dick than a huge dick.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Really?
Neither does any girl that dated you.
Okay, what's the difference between a schmeckle, a schmecky, and a schmuck?
A schmecky? What's a schmecky?
I don't know. I'm asking if then it doesn't exist. Okay, that one.
I don't think a schmecky is anything. A schmuck is like an idiot. You're a schmuck. Don't act like a schmuck. Don't act like a moron.
Right. Okay, that's I got you there. So there's a schmuck and there's a schmeckle.
Hey, quit acting like a schmuck. Put your schmeckle away. We're in public. I use both words in the same sentence.
Very good. Okay, well there you go. So
and if you don't, I'll remove your schmecky. Squeeze it in.
Very good. I guess that's pretty much the object. You're supposed to squeeze schmeckies in.
We're starting this episode like gangbusters here. Holy smokes.
Yeah. We're back. We're back.
Just the three of us.
Yeah.
No guest stars. Just the three of us.
You and I's. Or yous and I.
Never went up me.
That's what I get, right? I fuck it up. Yeah, it's just the three of us. We had guests the last two shows, and that was great, but now we're back. Matter of fact, this whole show is back to basics. We're using the original format with the old and the new and the connecting theme, and it's just the three of us. And, yeah, everything old is new again.
Yeah, all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that oh no, that's Shrek, isn't it?
Smash Mouth, yeah.
Shrek. Okay, Schmuckles, Shrek.
Smash Mouth from Schmeckles. Schmeckles the ass clown.
Oh, jeez. Oh, okay.
You know, for a show, an old school show that came together sort of last minute, thanks, Christian, I think we paired these like a fine wine.
Oh, I noticed as I was watching the second one last night. I was like, well, look
Right?
at this. Yeah, we could have chose any movie to pair with the one, and Christian made the right choice, honestly.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
For once.
So,
There we go.
He gets to stay on another week.
yep.
I don't care that my joke is now being used against me. You were the revolving door, Brandon. Now I'm the revolving door. I don't like it.
I'm retiring after our year anniversary show.
Yeah. Are we doing that next, or are we gonna actually push it to the official date? I figured what did it matter? We're coming up to a year. It only seemed right to do it on our big 25th anniversary, 25th episode.
God forbid.
It feels like 25 years, doesn't it?
Imagine that. I'd be 65 years old. I'm fucking podcasting with you two. Whew.
I love the way that you'll be 65, because I'll be close to 65, which means you'll be like 90.
Forever 40, except for
Forever
25 years.
40. Except
Thank
25 years from now. You should be 40.
I'm a simple 40-year-old. It's a fact. It's just, it is what it is, you know? I honestly hope we are doing this when I'm 65. That would mean I had a hell of a good life, because we wouldn't be doing it unless we enjoyed it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's it. That's exactly it.
You know,
Exactly.
whether we get to, right?
Exactly.
And exactly. Whether we get...
Anytime anyone wants to complete a sentence or a thought, go right ahead.
Exactly. Ah, shit. Okay, let's get to it. I'll tell you what we're doing tonight, guys. We are doing... Well, I'm not telling you guys. I'm telling the listeners, guys. We're doing two movies. First and foremost, we're doing the oldest movie and the newest movie we've ever done. How about that? Please tell me I'm right.
Is that true?
That,
What about that one with Hugo?
the doll. Yeah, with Hugo.
What year was that?
What was the name of that movie?
Hugo.
What's it called? Hugo?
No,
Are you
Devil.
sure?
Was it a Devil Doll?
You picked it. I don't know. Brandon picked it.
Devil Doll?
Devil Doll. It was Devil Doll, wasn't it?
Was it really Devil Doll?
Oh, for Christmas sake.
1964, if that's it. It is 1964.
Yeah,
I
it's
found it.
1964. Yeah.
So
Devil
I was
Doll.
right. I was right. We are doing a
Right.
movie. 1961. It's obviously the oldest movie we've ever done, and it's called The Innocents. And the other movie is called, correct me if I'm wrong now, I Am the Thing. No, I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Is
Ding,
that right?
ding, 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 ding.
Yes! And it's brand spanking new. It just got released 2 days ago, only on Netflix. So, yes, it's true. The newest and oldest movies we've ever done. So, and they're about ghosts. And as you guys are going to listen, they have more in common than we thought, besides just, the word ghost being involved somehow. It worked out really good, didn't it?
It worked out excellent. This is the closest link between two films. I think this is more closely linked than some franchise shows.
Almost as closely. What? That was
I'm
funny.
serious. These two films are very similar.
Yeah, I guess that they have more in common than Sleepaway 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they do. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Listen,
Are you cool with that?
I am. I made a mistake last show. Matter of fact, I made 2 mistakes last show. I said that there was...
Inviting Matt?
Oh.
Oh. Because
Oh,
I enjoyed Matt's company.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't, Dave.
Me? Why me? I love man.
I know, but it's just we wanted to turn it on you.
You referred to it as a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Oh, sorry. No, I really made a mistake that I said something at the beginning. I said 2 things. I said we were going to do the 10-year-old horror fan twice, and it was the last time this season. And I ended up not doing the second one, which was so pivotal to that show because it pertained to Halloween 3. And when you hear it, you'd be like, I totally blew it. I know, what an idiot. We went long. It was a long night. It was just, by the time we got to the end, I wasn't looking at my notes anymore. I was just like, whatever, let's. So I forgot So I have to do that. And I also forgot to read BC's email. I even said, dude wrote us an email and he listed his part 3s.
I noticed that you didn't play the second 10-year-old video, but if I were you right now, I would stand up. For those of you who don't know, Dave is sitting in bed while he records, but I'm pretty sure he just shit the bed. So stand up, we'll change your sheets, and then you can get back to it.
Oh, man. Can I forget one thing one time?
2 things, BC.
Yeah, but that's not important.
That's true.
Yeah, it's really not. It's just BC, you know. But my daughter, she's important. I'm going to do it now and get it over with. All right?
She's so important. I'm going to do it now and get it over with.
We'll let you fix your horrible mistake.
Okay, I'm going to fix it.
I'm not going there.
Oh!
Even I have limits to my jokes.
Oh! I didn't even mean it.
Oh, you bastards. Okay, let's listen to the 10-year-old horror fan for the last time this season. Okay, and maybe the last time ever. We'll see if it's a recurring bit next year. I don't know.
It'll be the 11-year-old horror fan next year, right?
It just might be. Yes, we might reach those heights. But anyway, yeah, okay. Check it out.
Stop it! 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 That's it.
That's the end. We're here live with Frankie Z, the 10-year-old horror fan. We just heard her say, that's it, at the end of the movie. So this might be a different type of review. So Frankie Z, tell us your thoughts on Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I really liked it. And, yeah, I really liked it.
Do you have any favorite parts?
My favorite part is when the family's trapped in the room with the TV.
Yeah, that was pretty scary, huh?
Yeah.
What if I bought you one of those silver shamrock masks? Would you wear it?
That depends if it's gonna poison me.
Poison. Okay, now you knew coming into this that there was no Michael Myers in it because I told you. So you had that going for you. So what do you think about that?
Well, it was kind of cool. I was kind of disappointed because, as you said, everyone was expecting Michael Myers to be in the movie, but instead they're just robots.
Yes, but at least I told you before you watched it, so you already knew, right?
Yes.
So at least you knew that. So I figured that would help your viewing experience. So now, you've seen a lot of horror movies. You've seen Halloween 1, 2, and 3, all the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a few other ones. The Shining, what else have we seen? We've seen a good amount now, probably 20, 25 movies maybe. At this point, for an update for the listeners, what would you say is your favorite horror movie?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow, Nightmare on Elm Street is the new number 1.
Crazy.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool, okay. Now, ratings time. 1 to 10, what do you give Halloween 3 Season of the Witch?
No. 10.
A 10?
Whoa!
Oh, wow. Wow, another 10.
She loves
So all
everything.
3 Halloweens so far for you are 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks again for listening to Frankie Z. Oh, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, at the ending, when how come, they didn't add on to the ending, because it could have been a more twisted ending than it was.
You didn't like that it ended with us not finding out?
No, I meant, they could add, a little more on it.
A little more? What would you have done differently?
I would, I actually don't know.
You actually
I
don't?
was thinking that there could be a different ending of it.
You don't like him going, stop it, stop it, stop it, at the end?
Yeah, but I was a bit confused.
A bit confused about what?
Why the operator wasn't listening.
Oh, why they weren't listening? Well, I think he was lucky that they got the first two down in the first place, considering he was some strange man calling, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
No, thanks.
Okay, well, say goodbye to the listeners. You have people that like the segment, so say something to them.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. The 10-year-old horror fan.
She gives out 10 out of 10s like Brandon gives out blowjobs to homeless guys.
I got nothing. I got nothing because it's true.
I got nothing because I got this homeless guy's cock in my mouth.
Now, Dave, how disappointed are you that Nightmare is her favorite movie?
I'm surprised because for the longest time it was The Shining.
No, but that's got to kill you, not being a Friday person.
Well, she hasn't seen the Friday ones yet, though, has she?
Yeah,
She's
saw
seen all
them.
All
the Fridays, and she chose Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
I
But
imagine at that age, that movie scared me more than Friday.
Yeah, it's more relatable because it's dreams and shit. That there's a lot more going on than it's going to camp and getting whacked.
Yeah, it's not camp. It's got dreams and shit.
Yeah, and it's pretty much
It's pretty much dreams and shit.
dreams and shit, and it's
That should be the new remake name.
That's a tagline for the new movie.
dreams and shit.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Dreams and shit, but mostly shit.
You could say that about every one of them after number 3. Fucking, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it was okay.
Nah, don't get me started.
It's funny when we did TGIF 13. I love 4 at the beginning. I talked about that when we were doing it. I was like coming down on the movie saying, man, this is such a failed opportunity here. But as the movie progressed, I said, for what it is, though, it's still enjoyable. As a fan of 3, you could just see, I wish they did this. Why couldn't they have done that? Why couldn't they have done this? So there's so many things that piss you off. But then at the end of the day, I ended up enjoying the movie and gave it a favorable review, even though I was pissing on it for the most of the screening.
Good. It deserves to be pissed on, and I haven't listened yet because it's October, and all the podcasts I'm listening to are straight Halloween related. So in 2 days, that's good. That's first on my list.
November 1st, I got the All Souls Day. Listen,
you got it, man.
All Souls Day. I'm going to listen to TJF 13.
Yep, it's true. It's already hooked up. I'm doing that.
Are you saying All Holes Day?
Brandon's ears just perked up. He's like, what?
Well, that's why I was like, my mouth is watering.
No holes barred, huh?
Yeah.
Schmeckles.
He's going home 1 through 20.
Imagine how disappointing that movie was for me. I'm like, no holes barred. This should be good. And then all of a sudden, Zeus and Hulk Hogan show up in it.
Hey, leave Hulk Hogan alone. No holds barred. Rip him. You remember that one, right? Rip.
He sure does.
He ripped him with his schmeckle.
Rip him. Tore him apart.
Very good.
Well, I bend over, you start fucking.
Start fucking. Nice. How about that, though, about the H3 ending? She thought it should have been a little more twisted. That's my girl, huh?
Yeah. She wanted to see more kids. She wanted more bull constrictors coming out of kids' heads.
You know what would have satisfied her? What we talked about last show. It should have cut to black after "Stop it!" and instead of the music, it should have been fucking kids screaming in fucking pain and terror for 2 answer credits.
I like the ending. I really do. I'm not saying I wouldn't have enjoyed hearing kids screaming, although that would have been really depressing. I like the idea of it being like, did he get that commercial taken off the air? Did it air? Was it too late? And did hundreds of thousands, if not millions of kids die? I kind of like that.
Why can't both happen? Because you got to remember, some kids did die. Even if he got through to those things, it took time, and you saw how quick it took with little buddy. So even if he got through to all stations, it still took a good minute. So kids are still dying. You don't think it was a clean sweep that nobody died, do you?
I think they were just in that phase out mode. They hadn't started to melt yet.
That's
They
what
were
you
just-
choose to believe. Huh?
Yeah. I choose to believe that he saved all the children.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
And they
I
ate
like to
all their
think both.
candy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Ooh, I can't wait to eat candy tomorrow, guys. I don't eat candy because the diet I'm on, I don't, you know. So, but tomorrow's a cheat day. Halloween, man. One more great thing about Halloween.
Cheat day.
It is. Halloween's a cheat day. I'll have candy on Halloween. I'll have a piece of pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Straight
pumpkin
up.
pie.
Well, yeah, I'll have pumpkin pie. That's the only sugar I'll have, though. I don't eat sweets. So I won't even eat a cake on my birthday usually.
Dave
You know,
is down to a healthy 93 pounds.
It's all cock.
He now lives in an iron lung.
I'm doing all right, man. I'm still not exactly where I want to be, but I'm pretty damn close. I'll tell you that. But tomorrow night, boy, fucking all bets are off. I'm gonna be in a sugar coma. Because you know what I did? I went to the store. I went to the bulk section. I bought one of everything. I bought one Reese's cup. I bought one fucking Hershey's Kiss. I bought one fun-size bag of Swedish Fish. I got one fun-size bag of Skittles. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna indulge in all my favorites tomorrow.
Did you say you bought one Hershey Kiss?
I did. Yep.
One?
Yeah.
Bulk section. Matter of fact, I even had two and I put one back at one point because I started feeling guilty. Yep.
He felt guilty.
I gotta do it because I look at myself in pictures now. I'm like, whew. Like you could see it now. Like, but I just love to eat. I just wish that instead of it going to my belly, it all just went like down to my cock and balls. Like it just like that's where I got bigger.
I don't want to get bigger in my cock and balls. There's no room as it is.
There's no room.
No. Especially the balls. Holy fuck, there's no room. When I'm old, I'm gonna be fucked. You ever hear about those old men whose balls like fucking go all the way down to their knees? That's totally gonna be me.
Oh man, big hanging meaty clackers.
Dude, yeah. They're huge.
Brandon
I've always loved
is not even thinking of candy right now. He's just drooling over those meaty.
What are you talking about? That is my candy.
Will
Show
you
you over
stop?
I think the Mars Company puts them out.
Will you stop?
That's what I'll be handing out tomorrow to the kids.
Fuck the gets. I'm gonna have those meaty clackers.
Hey kids, you want some mini clackers?
It's not bad again for the school. Hey, I'm sorry.
No, that's what we do here. Don't be sorry about that. That's okay. That's good.
Those of you who don't know, this is a horror podcast. We do normally talk about horror movies.
This one is meaty clackers. Coming
I'll
soon.
tell you what, that would be a
on a
funny
face
movie.
near you.
Clickety clackety.
Perfect.
Oh shit.
You had to get a clickety clackety. We got everything in there. Boom. There's the trailer. We just come up with movies left, right, and center here.
Boom.
We got to start a production company. Now, if someone would just give us the money to see some of these movies through, then yeah, we'd be laughing.
I'll tell you what, we can do it, and I'll tell you why. Because Christian, you've been putting up your movies, and they're all quite good. Your Halloween movies with the kids.
Thanks,
you should
guys.
pimp it somehow. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little behind still because I watch them with my daughter because we have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I kind of do one a week, so it's like that. But they're really good. Where can people see them?
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. I put them on Facebook this year because I used to always just YouTube, and I would get various success and whatnot. And then Facebook video has become so popular in the last year. I just said, screw it. I'm going to upload all of them to Facebook video. So if you're on the Exploding Heads group, then I've actually linked them all there. I just took the liberty of linking them there. They're linked to my profile. You don't even have to be on Facebook. You can see the videos. I made them public. If you don't have or want anything to do with Facebook, you can see them on YouTube. And if you just Google One Halloween Night 2016 or One Halloween Night 2011, it will pop up. If you put One Halloween Night Luciani, you're guaranteed to find them. And they're all there. And they started for fun when the girls were really young. I said, let's just do something for fun in 2011, and it just became a tradition every year. So, but thanks. It was fun. And this one was good. And we just try to up them every year. We just try to think of something different and bigger and better and hope that it translates well.
No, it's really cool, and I have two to go. Like I said, I've been watching one a week, but man, I've really enjoyed it. So we know you can make movies, and I believe that I can write. So I think between
I
us,
believe I can write.
well, I don't want to brag and say I'm a writer because I haven't had anything published. I think I'm good at it, but you know what I'm saying. I do believe I could write a horror movie. You
Well,
know
as
what
a
I'm saying?
team, that's the whole thing. Because what my problem is with my ADD, if I am self-diagnosed, by the way, it's not like ever been proven. But I'm just saying that like I come up with the idea, I'll come up with scenes. I love that. But when it comes down to like fleshing out the characters, there's my weakness. That's when I need like someone else to like you guys or whatever would come in and be like, okay, well, A, this doesn't make sense. Let's change that up. Okay, let's flesh these characters out. This is how we can add some backstory, whatever. And as a team, we should write movies. We've talked about them
Yes.
enough.
We should. I wrote a movie once.
There you go. And I remember you saying that you ran a contest for some scripts way back. We talked about it. If it was not episode 1, it was 2 or 3. Like it was really early in when we started recording.
Yeah, well, I had mentioned, because we were just doing the intro stuff, and I had mentioned that this is going back to like 2004 and 5. I had studied screenwriting at the New York Film Academy, and I even studied film critique at NYU. So both of those were really cool. The film critique was a lot of fun. I really wanted to try to get my foot into becoming a film critic, but I became too cynical after watching so many movies. It was just like,
What?
yeah.
My ass.
Yeah, well, this is what you're doing. You do it well. I think, and Dave, like you're right. Like I know you're talking about writing. You write skits and sketches and whatnot, and we talked about that. We should do it. Like I'm being serious because it's that push, and if we get the momentum going. It could be like a team no different than what you see out there, the VHS guys or whatever. And we just do bigger and better like that. This movie was shot. Funny enough, the camera I usually use, because we moved, I lost the freaking battery. I found out the day we were trying to film, I had the camera there. I'm like, I better charge the battery up before we start doing it. It wasn't in the camera, and I can't find it anywhere. So, and we tore the house up and down for the first day, and I'm like, okay, forget it. I shot it all on an iPhone. And I didn't even use 4K. I did 1080. And I think this movie, the last one, and when you see it, you tell me, I think it looks the best. And I think it sounds the best out of all of them. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, you can do this now I have it on a Mac. And this was, yes, it's a 9-minute movie. So we're talking about a feature-length movie. There's a lot more involved. You can do
but
it.
still.
Yeah, we can do it, and I think we should do it. Like
A lot of people are doing it and having success doing it. I mean, just being in the Facebook groups, you see a lot of people are filmmakers, and they're putting out good stuff.
You're
Yeah.
right.
And low budget stuff. I mean, they don't have millions of dollars. They're putting out movies, $1,000, $2,000, and they're having a lot of success with it, and we're fortunate enough to get to see them.
With technology the way it is now, it's not about technology because I always used that as a crutch when I was younger. Oh, if I only had a film, if I was only able to shoot on film. Oh, if I was only able to shoot on digital. Well, you could do that all now. It's the script, as we all know, and I don't want to say you can make, because there's crap out there. We've all seen it, and it's going to continually to get made, but with a little bit of effort and a little bit of love, and those blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. You'll have an audience, because the reality is that there's people that want good product. Yeah, we're horror fanatics. Great. I mean, that gives us a bit of an in. But if we produce schlock and crap, your credibility will be shot right away. So the reality is, I want to, like, these movies are meant to have a bit of heart. They're supposed to be fun, like a Goosebumps for the family to watch and have fun with them. They're not supposed to be anything like, oh my God, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. I wanted, like, the kids were showing them at the school, and I still got parents that complained that their kid came home and it was too scary for them. So I'm like, okay, well, good. I take that as a compliment, actually.
You got a couple letters saying,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this is a little too excessive. I apologize, but I need you not to show this to my child.
It's too late.
Again, I'm sorry. Please don't. I think it's awesome. I do think it's awesome.
Good job.
I'm a few behind too, but I'm not going in order like Dave. Dave is so OCD.
Yeah, it's not like it.
My ass.
My ass. Trust me, from somebody who's clinically OCD, you're really OCD.
I don't want to jump off this topic because I do, but I don't want to also bore the audience with it. But the reality is that we should and we will. It's just a matter of time, because it's at the end of the day, it's finding the time to all collaborate.
Yeah.
Found footage. We make a killer found footage movie. It won't be difficult.
How about a killer fleshlight?
I think we've talked about we have so many ideas already in previous episodes. We had that real girl one. We had all the ones we came up with just a couple of episodes ago.
And those were good. We should make those. are the ones that we came. I can't even remember what they were anymore, but the ones we came up with, I remember thinking, "Wow, all three of these sounded good."
I had lots of ideas. I mean, lots, like way too much. So there's
Exploding
no
Heads,
shortage. Yeah, there's no shortage here. We could do it. So stay tuned, guys. Hopefully, a year from now, you'll hear us shooting something, and not a person. With me, it might be a person. The rate I'm going, I don't know. We'll see. What happens.
Maybe we'll do a snuff film.
Maybe we'll do a schmeckle film.
Hey, sign
Or a
me up.
schmuck.
You can flick my schmeckle. You can flick your bean.
No bean flicking.
What was the show about again?
Ghosts and shit and horror. You know what? Horror. Okay, let me give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Dark Discussions podcast because I have not mentioned them before, and I have been listening. And the reason I never mentioned them before, I didn't even know what a podcast was 3.5 years ago. Truth be told, I didn't know. Alex told me, and I've thanked him many times on air and in person. Thank you for introducing this to me. And he showed me the Skeleton Crew was the first show I listened to, and long story short, here I am now. But at the time, I was just discovering podcasts. And there was only a few I was listening to, but I was trying to sample every one I could because I was so new and I was so excited about this new format. Horror podcast. What the hell? This is great, So now at the time, Dark Discussions, that was a group that was in, people I knew them. I got into the group. But here's what I noticed. I happened to check in at the wrong time because when I started checking out that show, they were talking about Game of Thrones. Like 2 or 3 episodes in a row. And sometimes they do that. They'll do Cult and they'll do other shit and they'll just do other things. They're like 200 shows in or something now. I can't even tell you how many.
Yeah.
So they've been around a while. But they were doing this Game of Thrones thing, so I was like, okay, well, this isn't a fucking horror podcast. I'm not going to listen to this. So I never listened and I let it go. Then later on I heard somebody else mention it. Then I listened to an episode and it was really good. And They gave us a shout out last show, and wanted to give one back to him. Yeah, we see Philip. He talks on our page and this and that, and he's around. They're good guys. I'll tell you one thing: you want to hear an in-depth review? I mean, how we talk about setting alarms and shit like that. There's no setting alarms there. Those people, those guys, and sometimes there's 5 of them on there when they got the full cast. They go so in depth, like they were talking about Taxi Driver for like 2 hours. They get into it.
Yeah.
So and they're big horror fans like ourselves. They know what they're talking about. They have different backgrounds in the genre and whatever it is. But check out Dark Discussions and thanks for listening, guys, and thanks for the shout out. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think
That's
that's part of the reason why we went to the alarm idea is because we were kind of going a little bit too in depth. Not necessarily too in depth. We could talk for hours about the films.
Well, yeah, but we're doing a different show. I mean, there's different shows handle it different way.
Yeah, I like the shorter reviews. We're able to get everything across in a shorter amount of time, I think.
For what we do, it's great because I enjoy doing this shit, if not more than I do the reviews. So
okay.
Yeah, and I agree too because I jump all over the place again, and I find that when you're doing a review, I want to get to things so quickly that might not be the agenda of everybody else. So by cutting it down, I find that it's just a very fast paced way to go through the movie too. So I'm all with you, and I love this part, the segments talking about everything. I know you have a whole laundry list of things that you'd like to get to tonight, so and I'm prepared. I don't have a red-handed killer, but I think I'm prepared.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we can get on there. Let's see. We'll start off with our emails here, and let's see what's what. Let's see. Oh, you know what? First and foremost, let me read BC's part 3s. This is something I skipped last show. This is from last show, just for fun. We're gonna read it because BC, I joked before, but you are important. So there you go. I said it. Okay. This is from BC. Hey, Exploders. Here is my top 10 list of Part 3 movies, from least to most favorite. Number 10, Feast 3, The Happy Finish. Number 9, Tremors 3, Back to Perfection. Number 8, Return of the Living Dead 3. Number 7, Saw 3. Number 6, Friday the 13th Part 3, in 3D. Number 5, Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. Number 4, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Number 3, Day of the Dead. Number 2, Exorcist 3,
Wow.
And big praise for that. And number 1, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Nice.
Yes. Honorable mention, Final Destination 3.
You just had to throw the honorable mention in, didn't you?
How funny that is that he didn't even hear, you know what I'm saying? Now that he's heard the show, that will be funny because you guys shit on it.
What are you talking about? I'm the king of cheating the rules. Top 10s become top 11s. 75 honorable mentions.
You shit on the movie Final Destination 3. All you guys did. I didn't. I defended it.
I shit on part 3?
We did.
Yeah,
we said it was the worst one out of. You said part 4 was worse, and I said, well,
by far.
But then you had the 3D in it, and part 4 is like blast. It's poorly acted, and it probably is the worst of the batch. But the 3D is its saving grace. Whether that
part 2 is the best one, we all know that.
No.
What are you kidding? Part 2 is epic.
1, 2, and 5, and I think they go in that order.
Is 5 the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah. Those are the 3 best.
1, 2, 5, and then I'd probably say 4 and 3 are on par. 3 again, it clicks along, but that whole escalator scene was ridiculous. I get them confused. Is that the one with the escalator scene?
3?
Killer escalator at the end or something?
Yes, I think so.
No, but that part's in 3D. I can't remember.
You don't even know what you're talking about. You're insulting movies. I'll say.
I go fuck
I
yourself.
do know.
We're talking about today on the message boards with Halloween. I you know what? I shit on Halloween 5 a lot every now and then, but you know what? I admit when you look at that series, and that's how bad that series got. Halloween 5 is better than the majority of the other ones out there in that series. I put them in order. I think I said my list was like Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order. Then I jumped to Zombies 1 and 2, and then I think it goes to like H2O Halloween or Halloween 6, H2O, and then Resurrection, something like that. Like I actually will give more credit to 5 than most people do. There's some horrible parts to it. Oh, and don't get me wrong.
I'll give it less and less credit.
It's rated a 5 at that part. Like I'm rating it a 5 out of 10. So you can just imagine what I think of everything below it. I think actually everything below it, I kind of all put it at 5 out of 10s until like Resurrection.
Wow. Well, next Halloween we'll do a whole fucking segment and we'll rank them all just like we did. We'll discuss it for like an hour.
There we go.
That's what
Sorry,
we'll do.
I threw that. I wedged that in there.
No, it's good talk. I just next year we'll make something of it. That's all I'm saying. We'll do something.
So we'll sit on that for a year.
Yeah, they can wait and
hold that thought, Christian.
Yeah, that's just fluff.
Come back to you in 365 days.
Well, it's a good thought, but if we get into this,
hold on to it.
If we start talking about that, we'll talk for an hour now about all the different Halloweens. All I'm going to say is nothing. I'm not going to say anything.
Let's cross off the list. We've already done. We've done the BC. We did the 10-year-old horror fan. You're getting some things crossed off that list, so I won't stop.
All right. We're on emails now. Okay, emails. Here's another one. Uncommon interest. Our buddy Craig Chaos is back. He says, "Hey guys, I just listened to the Halloween 3 episode. Allow me to express a few things. Number 1, the Greasy Strangler is the nickname of my cock."
Oh.
Yeah. That's still nothing near as gross as the movie was.
Yeah, we'll probably get to that later if we have time, yeah. Number 2, it was good to see Horophilia alumni Matt Wiesel back to doing something after his debilitating coke habit that had him locked away in a basement in Paranoia. Yeah, we brought him back. Yep, he's okay now. Number 3, is there such a thing as a bad Tom Atkins film? Nope, because any film with him is instantly elevated. All right, until next time, don't let them other motherfuckers tell you what to like. Keep all your interests uncommon. Craig Chaos.
Nice.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mr. Chaos.
Yeah, Captain Chaos.
Yeah.
Yes.
From one captain to another.
Right. Yeah. From Canuck to Chaos. Yes. Sweet. Okay, here's another email. Now this one is just our friend Marco. He left us an iTunes review. He wants to make sure. Yeah, he wants to make sure that when we do a prize drawing, he gets in on the action. So, and that's not the only reason. He just wants, he wants us to know we left it, and I have it here. So he sent us an email. Hi, guys. Since I live in Finland, you can't see my review for your show. So here's a screenshot for it. I just noticed that there are a few misspellings in my review, but since Christian can't pronounce cinematography, why the fuck should I care about my bad grammar? Yes.
I think we're finished with this.
Oh man, you stole my joke! I was waiting to the end.
That was easy.
I know it's easy, but I was gonna say, are we finished?
Yeah. You know what? I feel bad for Finland. Like, I mean, you have to be number 3 to Sweden, Norway, and then there's Finland.
I don't know the difference between any of those places. So
Scandinavia.
Yeah, they're all Scandinavian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good.
They're all a bunch of Vikings.
Yeah, and they speak Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Ricola. Wait, no, that's not a
Are
Viking.
you blowing the chauffeur?
Isn't that down? The Vikings do that.
That's the Jewish thing, blowing the chauffeur. Although I blew the chauffeur once, he was not too happy. It was on prom. It was prom night.
Yes.
Prom night. Anyway, he says he loves us, and check it out.
We love you too.
Kier Jotia Arvo Stelu.
Nailed it.
Okay? Arvo Stelu. Okay, now for the actual English part. From Marco. Almost as good as 22 shots of moods and horror. That's the review. That's how it starts. Don't you know why he did that? Remember that guy did it to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it back. He's doing them a solid. Okay. Okay, almost as good as 22 shots of moods and horror. These 3 guys are top notch. They do awesome reviews, and they even give good bleaching tips for everyday use. Clickety clackety. All right, so there you go.
And I hope he knows we love everybody from Scandinavia. Doesn't matter what one of the fucking places you're from.
All those crazy lands. Okay, guys, we are now on voicemails. So
thanks, Mark. By the way,
Thanks, Marco.
Yes, thank you, Marco, and yes, you are
thanks,
in on the next one.
Marco, with the O.
Yeah, or Mark without the O.
Well, we could call Christian Chris if you want.
I just like to call him Chin.
Because that's where you want to come on.
Yeah,
Oh!
right. Exactly.
Oh, lordy. Okay, let me play this message. These fucking guys. All right, let's see.
These guys.
Hey, headers. This is BC. This time using my real voice. I want to give you guys a call and let you know something that's been bothering me for quite a few years now. Since 2001, the film Jeepers Creepers. Remember the scene where they talked about his license plate saying, "Eating you"? And then, no, it's "be eating you." Well, it got me thinking, what the hell? The Creeper, was he like sitting in DMV, like, for hours online, sitting there going, "Oh, I fucking hate this place." And then he gets up to the front of the line, and he's all like, "Can I just give me one that says, 'be eating you'?" I was just waiting to see that movie. Just the Creeper sitting online in DMV for 2 hours, and then ordering his license plate. Anyway, keep up the great work, guys. I'm loving the shows. Can't wait till the next one.
That's brilliant.
Oh my God, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
But the movie's already hard enough to say you enjoy because of Victor salivating, but now he just totally ruined it for me. Because how did he get that license plate?
Right.
Mail
How
order.
did he get a license? Mail order. There he is typing, just like he said, sitting in front of the computer. Fucking the Creeper. I gotta have this license plate because I want everyone to know that I plan to eat them. Why would you even do that? You'd want to be inconspicuous, don't you think? Fucking, that's like Freddy driving around, or no, he doesn't drive. No one does. That's like Michael Myers driving around. His
There's a
license plate
bus.
says fucking. Fucking yeah, that's true. Stabbing you or some shit. I mean, why would you draw attention to yourself? On top of that, it's fucked up. That's always bothered me about that movie.
That'd be a great deleted scene if it was like him in the demon.
That bothered me in the whole second half. I find that movies all build up, and then the payoff I find is garbage.
I really enjoy the hell out of that movie, and for a little while I felt like you. But last time I watched it, I fucking loved it. So I don't know, it came back to me.
I might be
give
the
it
only
like
one that
9.
actually thinks they enjoyed part 2 more than 1.
Oof, I did not like.
I've never seen part 2.
I've seen it once, and I did not like it. It was, I don't know. People were fucking clairvoyant for no reason, and yeah, I'm not one of those guys that's big on isolation, like a bunch of people together on a bus. It just doesn't do it for me. Just like it's like one of the reasons I don't like Saw 2. Too many fucking people. I don't like when a bunch of people are trapped at once. It's just, I don't know.
That's
I never
fair.
see them picked off one by one.
There was no bus in Saw 2.
No. Jeepers Creepers 2 as a bus.
Thank you.
And a
Maybe
song.
we'll do Bus Horror next show for our big 1-year anniversary.
Yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Jeepers Creepers
Maybe
2.
2. Everything's up 2 with the buses.
And Trick or Treat.
Or Friday 6. Don't they come in a bus?
The fucking asshole. Yeah. I hate those kids. Ah.
There they
All
are,
right.
and they're all yours.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the emails. Here's another email. Or voicemail.
Hi, this is Christopher. I like to call myself the Scream Queen. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi to my boys. Oh, okay, you're so Canadian. I'd love to see your back bacon, baby. Oh, and Brandon, you're so cute and nasally. I would love to feel that nasal on my sack. And David, you're so cute. Oh, you silly sausage. I just want to scratch your eyes out. Anyway, I was just calling to say hi, like I said. Oh, and I was wondering, what's your favorite movie? Butch? Better yet, who's your favorite Butch?
Oh, that's fucking great. This guy's like the Jerky Boys. He sounds like a cross between Saul Rosenberg. You remember the Jerky Boys?
Yeah, he does sound like
Saul Rosenberg.
Yeah.
I know he is.
Oh,
My head was all bashed apart.
yeah. And my shoes fell off.
And I fell down the stairs and my shoes fell off. Yeah.
You know what it feels like to be hurt? I still love the Jerky Boys. Anyway, but that's what it sounds like. Butch. So he's talking like Sigourney Weaver alien style, like I guess not to sound sexist, but women that are like tough as nails that might even be coined as like in a male role, but they're a female character.
I thought he meant lesbian.
I thought he meant people named Butch.
Well, you two are clearly idiots. I think
No, Dave is clearly an idiot. The verdict is still out on me with mine.
No, I'm not an idiot, and I'll tell you why.
People named Butch?
Okay, time out.
Who's
Time
your
out. Let me
favorite
play the
Butch?
second. He called back, assholes. Hold on.
Oh, the guy from Pulp Fiction.
I'm gonna play part 2 then. Hold on, you'll see.
Hi, it's Christopher again. Ooh, we got cut off. I don't like to get cut off. Anyway, I think that was that Travis guy who was affecting this phone system. Anyway, I wanted to say who your favorite Butch was. Was it Butch Patrick or Butch Cassidy?
See?
Anyway,
Dave's obviously
my
not an
favorite
idiot.
movies are from David Dakota, like Bleaches and his 1313 movies. They're to die for. All right, guys, I can't wait to hear your response. Bye.
Now what do you assholes think?
That we
You said
never
real
listened to
people?
part 2 of that message before we came down on you.
Yeah. So it was both of our faults.
I would like to officially apologize.
Oh, it's okay. You didn't know better. I apologize too. You didn't hear the second message, and I didn't realize he didn't say it in the first message. So,
I was looking up lesbians in horror films earlier.
well, go ahead. Everybody, but that makes the answer more interesting. Everybody give a different answer about a butch. Go ahead. Brandon, what kind of butches are you talking about? Give an answer.
I was thinking most recently of Marie from High Tension.
I knew you would say that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I said Sigourney Weaver because I thought they just meant like kick-ass female characters.
But I would have to go with Butch Cassidy over Eddie Munster.
And same here.
I'm going to give 2 butches. No, I'm going to give 3. Fuck that. I'm going to give 3 Butches. I'm going to mention Butch Vig. All right? I like Butch Vig. He's a good producer. He's a good drummer. I put him out there. What else do I like? Oh, you know what I like? There's a wrestler. His name is Butch. Hacksaw.
Well, then it fits what he's asking.
He said favorite Butch. His name is Butch. Hacksaw or the natural Butch Reed. Yeah, he was also one half of Doom. Butch Reed. What's wrong with that Butch? He's a pretty cool Butch.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
No, this is the different Hacksaw. Not Jim Duggan, but Hacksaw Butch Reed. Real wrestling fans will know. So, and there's another Butch. Don't even blaspheme on wrestling.
I love fake sports. No, seriously, I really do.
You like fake movies? Why not like that? But anyway, Butch the Bulldog. Don't forget about Butch the Bulldog. It's Pluto's nemesis from Disney.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, Butch. Remember that dog?
How about my favorite, Kosher Butcher? Hey!
Kosher Butcher?
Butcher. Maybe next week he'll call back and ask us for our favorite muffins.
So yeah, anything else to add about the Butch?
No.
No?
No, I'm very confused. Now, is Christopher somebody disguising his voice in a funny way, or is this really a person who, like, I have to be weary of showing up at my house?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
All
I
right.
don't know. We'll have to find out.
He is from Jersey.
Maybe that person will reveal himself, but until that time, it's not my business to say who it is, even if I did know. So the mystery will remain just that, a mystery.
Sounds good.
But if you guys want to email us or V-mail us, I will tell you how to do it. ExplodingHeadsHorrorPodcast@gmail.com. Email. We will read it, so send it. And voicemail, 702-625-2224. 702-625-2224. So there you go. So join in on that. Now, we have some other questions that didn't actually... There's one I don't know how it came up, but I have a note here for it. So I know somebody asked us at one time or another. It may have been on the group page. The other ones I actually have the screenshot. But somebody asked us about homegrown horror. They wanted to know about, where we were from, what was... I took it as, what was filmed there.
I think it was Dave Verdone. E.
Was it Dave Rendon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was his voicemail.
Now, how close to home are we getting?
I luck out, man. Like, I luck the fuck out.
Yeah, some of you guys luck out. I mean,
I don't.
I don't really luck out, but I do have one that's really interesting.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
You shoot your one off.
Yeah, and I'll shoot my one off, and Christian can go crazy.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm in what's called Matawan, New Jersey, and so
Padawan?
Matawan.
Like Star Wars? Padawan?
Young Padawan.
Wow.
Young Padawan.
Padawan. Obi-Wan.
With an N.
Sorry. Okay.
It was like a Abbott and Costello routine, just not good.
Yeah. Terrible.
The natural one? What'd you say? Okay.
I made a list. I did Class of Nukem High, Toxic Avenger, Amityville Horror was actually shot in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And of course, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But in terms of my hometown of Matawan, Jaws, the real life story, is based on a bunch of shark killings that took place in 1916, and 2 of those killings took place in my hometown.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
100
I didn't know that.
years.
100 years ago.
So let's stay out of the water, man.
If
That's a good movie.
If you look it up, it's based on what happened in I mean, there were a bunch of shark attacks up the coast, but 2 of them happened in Matawan, New Jersey, in my hometown.
Wow. I got an idea for a movie now. It's 100 years to the day, because what you said, 1916, it's now 2016. How about this?
A tornado of sharks comes through, and... Sorry.
Ghost sharks, man. Ghosts, No one's ever seen a ghost shark before.
Oh, no, there is a ghost shark movie.
Yeah, that's definitely a
Ghost Shark. No, it's called Ghost Shark. There's a kid that goes on one of those slip and slides. I'm dead serious because I couldn't stop laughing at this. He slides on the slip and slide, and a ghost shark appears at the end and eats the kid on the slip and slide. If I get the clip, I'll post it to the page. It's fucking ridiculous.
You got to now. Does he slide on the slip and slide right into his mouth.
Yeah.
His jaws closed. Yes. That's better than I could have done. All right. Nice. All right, that's pretty cool. You know, here's something really, really strange, Brandon, that you brought up Nukem High. Because when you said Nukem High, I remembered that there was the return to Nukem High was filmed in my backyard, and I didn't and I forgot about it till now because number one, I've never seen it, so
It's
I really
pretty
don't care
bad.
about it. Yeah, I don't care about it, but I know it's filmed here. So they did return to Nukem High somewhere near Buffalo. So, and the big one is The Burning, which was filmed in my hometown
Oh, yeah.
of North Tonawanda, New York. And here's the crazy part: I cannot fucking find it. I have put pictures up online to Buffalo people, to people I know that I grew up with, NT, say, what's this, put it on Facebook. Nobody could identify it. Recently, I want to say Paul Stevenson did this. He put something up and says, it might be Ellicott Creek Park. And I've been to Ellicott Creek Park, but the picture he put up looked a little bit familiar. So maybe it's somewhere near there. But
Nice.
The Burning is the claim to fame, and I'm gonna go search around. Maybe I'll make a little documentary about it one day. Maybe you guys can come here and we can do it. And if not, fuck you. I'll bring the Banana Laser Boys here and they'll do it.
Searching for the Burning. Yep, there we go.
Searching for the Burning, right?
Oh, I found it. It was with me this whole time. I gotta go see the doctor.
I did 22 shots of penicillin again.
22 shots of...
Woo! Very good, Christian.
All
There
right.
you are. Front
Well,
and center. How many
I was
movies?
born in Toronto, but I grew up in Oakville, and I now live in Burlington. So I guess my hometown is really Oakville, but it's part of the GTA, which is Greater Toronto Area. So I use Toronto, and there's a shit ton. I could probably list and keep listing. So I'll try to list some that I think are pretty exciting. So every Saw movie, with the exception of the original, was filmed in Toronto. Wrong Turn was filmed in Hamilton, which is right next door and surrounding area. Silent Hill 1 and 2, Toronto, Hamilton, and Brantford. Mama, which is the 2013 in Toronto. Berkshire County, Toronto. American Psycho, Toronto. The Thing remake, Harry remake, Poltergeist remake. Resident Evil, all done in Toronto and area. Land of the Dead, Hamilton and Toronto. Dawn of the Dead remake, Toronto. Black Christmas, the original Toronto. The new Flatliners movie was shot in my hometown, the town I grew up in Oakville. At least some of the hospital scenes. And the show Hannibal, which I never knew, and The Strain were filmed in Hamilton, right next door. Didn't even know that.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
Shit.
And the coolest one, which there's no way in hell I would have guessed this. No way in hell. The Witch, yes, The Witch from this year was shot not right next door by any means, but in Kiosk, Ontario, which is only a 3-hour drive away, like 3 change up in cottage country. I had no clue it was filmed in Ontario. I thought that was filmed in like England or something like that. Like I would have never known it was filmed 3.5 hours away.
Wow. Well, we gotta go. We gotta go see it now. Shit.
Dave's got to do his clickety clackety.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, you know. And there's way
gotta
more. There's probably people screaming like, "What about this and this and that?" There's tons. Like Toronto, because Toronto became the Hollywood North, and Vancouver as well. But Toronto really was like where it first Hollywood was coming to get those tax breaks in the 80s, and then it went into the 90s and 2000s, and then it started turning around, and we still get production up here. Obviously, as I shot off a bunch of recent movies as well, but it's not quite as I think as big and lucrative as it once was. Again, I think the popularity is because of the strong American dollar right now. But for about 2-3 years, we were almost on par. Our dollar was almost on par, which was great for us. But now it sucks. Like now, our dollar is way low compared to the American dollar. So I think that's why production has come back here, because they can get a more bang for their buck.
Makes sense. Wow. That's crazy though. Yeah, fucking Toronto, man. That's where it's at. Well, cool, very good. All right, so that's enough homegrown horror for you guys. You know, Christian really takes the cake there. Wow. Okay, so we have more questions here, and they were the ones on the page. The one was about Argento. It was directed at me, but I told, it's for all of us. We were talking about it one day, and Craig Wilkinson says, I want to list my my top 10 Argento. And then the asshole pulls a fucking Brandon and lists 11. But And here's the
don't have
worst
11.
part. Here's the worst fucking part. His number 11 is Dracula 3D.
I never saw it.
Why be compelled to put that one on there? It's well, I cannot look myself in the face without having Dracula 3D on this list, so I gotta have 11. You know. So anyway, Craig Wilkinson, whatever. Godspeed. If you, that's okay. I'm never gonna talk shit about an Argento movie. So, but I'm gonna read his. This is what he says. I'll go backwards, of course. He didn't write it backwards, but I'll add some drama to it. 11 Dracula 3D. We said okay. 10 Mother of Tears. 9 Giallo. 8 The Card Player. 7 Phenomena. 6 Opera. 5 The Stendhal Syndrome. 4 Tenebrae. 3 Inferno. 2 Deep Red. And 1 Suspiria. Then he says, have not seen Cat o' Nine Tails. So.
That's
What? Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's a crazy list.
Do you? It is a crazy list.
He's got the Card Player and Giallo on there.
I know.
Giallo, who?
I don't hate any of those movies. I'll tell you.
No, I'll still watch a bad Argento film, but
they're not bad. They're just not great. But I'm fine with them. They're better than average for horror movies. Do you guys have 10 or do you not?
I have 10.
I have 9.
All right. Okay, well, go ahead. Who wants to go?
Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, I'll go. Are we doing our 10 to 6, or are we just doing all the way through?
Yeah, we'll go all the way through.
All right, number 10, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Number 9, Sleepless. Number 8, Trauma. Number 7, Opera. Number 6, Inferno. Number 5, Phenomena. Number 4 is Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Number 3, Suspiria. Number 2, Deep Red. And number 1, Tenebrae.
Nice.
Wow, man. I mean, okay, he has 24 films I guess you could choose from. Here in my top 9.
I picked just from the films he directed. I didn't go. I mean, it's not wrong if you went with some of the ones he wrote. You know, I obviously would have put Demons on there and stuff, but
I didn't do that either.
Okay.
And hopefully you guys allow my number 9, Two Evil Eyes.
Yeah, definitely.
Number 8, Trauma. Number 7, the Stendhal Syndrome. Number 6, Inferno. Number 5, Deep Red. Number 4, Tenebrae. Number 3, Suspiria. Number 2, Phenomena. Number 1, Opera.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Opera. Is like my fave.
I gotta go and rewatch Opera. I love Opera, but it's been some of the ones that I had in my bottom half. Some of the ones.
Wow, bottom half.
Some of the ones I've had in my bottom half. Oh God, you wouldn't believe. It's just been a while since I've seen them, so I had to go by faint memories of what I thought of them.
Man, I've seen them all in the last 2 years for sure. I don't go too long without watching any of his shit, so I'm just surprised at your Suspirias and your Deep Reds placing where they placed. That's a little surprising.
5 and 3, eh? You know why I do really love Suspiria, but something about when I saw Creepers at the time with that cover art and Jennifer Connelly. I saw that at a very young, impressionable age, like right when I was getting into horror, when I was still scared of it. Where I saw A Nightmare on Elm Street, where I saw not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Silver Bullet, and a couple of other horror movies, Creepers being one of them, at the Neighbors, that because he had an older brother that would rent them, and I would come over and I'd end up seeing them, and I was scared shitless of them, and that always I had that nostalgic impact with me. Suspiria is probably a better made movie. However, I just have that love for Creepers, which then when I finally saw the unrated version, I even loved it more.
Yeah. It's funny when I'm
similar. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Brandon.
Oh no, I was just gonna say to Christian that when I mentioned Phenomena, I was gonna give him a snarky Creepers.
Well, that's how we knew it for years. Though.
No, I know. I just bought the pre-ordered that new steelbook that's coming out.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I saw I think I saw someone posted it, or it was a sponsored ad or something. I came up on something that looked really cool.
It's a beautiful edition. I spent $45 on it.
Yeah.
Minga.
Yeah. Minga.
45. Holy shit.
Yeah, for one movie.
Oof.
No, I haven't seen. Do you like Hitchcock? The Card Player, Gallo. I haven't seen. Giallo, I haven't seen. And Dracula I did see. Dracula and Phantom I did see.
Galileo.
I get them confused, but
Okay, what's the worst one?
Galileo.
Galileo.
I never said Galileo, you skunk.
I just love it. It's like the easiest one. It's like the whole genre. It's like subgenre giallos, and it's like he's like giallo.
Oh, fuck it. I said Giallo.
You did.
Yeah.
There's always room for giallo.
Yeah. I'm good.
He's fucking Italian too. That's the worst part.
This will not catch on like cinematography.
Oh no, that one I edited it out. I didn't say it. I think I said Jello, and I went Giallo.
Yeah, no, you did. You really didn't say it wrong. It was just funny because like I was just expecting you to just go giallo, but it seemed
No,
like
I had a pissy off. I had to do it with the way my mom would say bruschetta.
Busquets.
There is some bruschetta. No, it's bruschetta.
It's ricotta. You call it ricotta or no, Christian?
It's
I don't give a-
ricotta.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
ricotta.
It ain't. It's not fucking ricotta. Hey, ricotta.
like ricotta cheese.
Right,
And
exactly.
it's with gravy.
So, my
Can I get the top 10 here or no?
Yeah, no, we're gonna keep talking. So that I haven't seen. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
We already know your top 10.
You guys have no idea what my top 10 is. I'll tell you right.
We know your number 1 and your number 10.
No, you don't. You don't know my number 10. I'll tell you what now. My number 10 is Proof, and I'll say it again. Another reason that Argento is number 1 is because he is the only horror director to have a good movie in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And that is fact, and I defy anyone else to come up with proof that someone else did.
Well, technically that's opinion, but
I agree with that. But even big fans of other directors, I don't think are going to come and tell me and have it be an argument that people are going to agree with them on. Say, oh, no, that guy did a great movie in the 2000s, because none of them did. But anyway,
Yui Ball.
yeah, he retired. Did you see that?
Yeah, everybody was applauding.
Yep. Idiot. But anyway, let's get back to this. My number 10 is Sleepless. And it's the last great movie he made.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot about that one. You know what? I would put that as my number 10. I totally forgot about that one.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Brandon said it too.
I had a number 9.
yeah, well, I forgot about that.
Christian wasn't listening.
Yeah.
He was trying to
I was
He was trying to
sleeping.
figure out how to pronounce Galileo.
My joke was
God.
better.
Yeah, your joke was better.
That was good. Right. Okay. 10, Sleepless. Number 9, Inferno. Number 8, Cat o' Nine Tails. Number 7, Bird with a Crystal Plumage. Number 6, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Number 5, Phenomena. Number 4, Tenebrae. Number 3, Opera. Number 2, Deep Red. And number 1, Suspiria.
Nice.
I
That's that.
knew
Did I
it.
surprise you?
Yeah, you did a little bit. Not with your number 1 or 2.
No, but did the others surprise you a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I admittedly, I don't love his earlier works as much as some. Like you guys had a few of his. His first 2, I actually.
Oh, Bird is so good. I love Bird.
Four Flies was the one that I was
Flies.
really. Yeah, I'm not a
What?
big fan of that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Wow.
me too. I left Cat o' Nine Tails off only because it doesn't feel so much horror-ish.
I don't know, man. I love it all. It's a giallo, straight up.
Giallo. It's a Galileo.
Galileo Galilei.
Hey, don't even try to turn us into anything.
No, I'm not.
It's already done. It's
It
already
wasn't
happened.
even. Yeah, but
It's
no,
got.
it wasn't
It's
even
done.
close.
Yeah, it's done. I'm gonna have to live with this now.
No, the pronunciation would have had to been off, and it really wasn't. So, listeners, let's cut Christian a break here. No Galileo jokes.
It's going to be Galileo now for the next month. Until they get tired of that one.
Galileo.
Do you know, guys know who Galileo was?
Yeah, Galileo Galilei.
Yeah. Do you know what he did?
I know what he did. He looked into a telescope.
No, but before that,
Um,
he was a world-renowned cinematographer.
Oh shit!
I thought it was just some guy you blew on the corner last night.
No, that was Galileo Galilei. Now we have a question on the group page. Our friend Debbie Overly says, I don't know if this was ever discussed on the podcast, but I was curious, have any of you read the horror novels or stories associated with some movies? Which did you think were better, book or movie, and why? So I could just say one thing. The only novels I've read that have been turned into movies are King and Barker. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that the book was better every single time except Carrie. Carrie, I think, was a better movie. And I think Pet Sematary was very good, but there was some parts in the book that I wasn't crazy about when they had, what's his name, talking, Judd, whatever his name is, the old guy. Don't go down that road. Him. With the accent, the way it was written in the book, it got a little too much for me. But everything else about the book was great. And that's all I'll say about that. And as far as Barker goes, they're all, Cabal was better than Nightbreed. But I still like Nightbreed a lot. And Hellbound Heart is short. Hellraiser's great too. So that's all I can say.
What about The Shining?
Shining is an excellent book and an excellent movie. Granted, they're both very different, and the same thing goes for Misery. Misery is a top 3 King book, in my opinion. I love it, and it's a great movie, but I'm a big fan of the book. Same thing with It. See, some of them are still great movies and great books, but a lot of times the books are always better.
It seems like that's usually the answer when it comes to it. As great as the movies are, it just seems like it's always the books are genuinely more scary because it's really your imagination versus actually seeing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But have any of those books that you've read, have any of the on-screen adaptations hit the nail on the head in terms of what you pictured in your mind when you were reading the books, or did you read the books after the films?
I read the books after.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I wish I didn't sometimes, but I did.
No, that's
and my answer can't be. It's not much different. I think universally, I'm more of a visual person. So there are there's definitely some movies that I would say that I like. I think you nailed it with Carrie. I really do think you nailed it with Carrie. And I might even say Christine, because Christine wasn't one of his stronger books, and that's arguable. But I mean, I actually quite like the movie of Christine, even though it's some people consider it a John Carpenter misfire. I think it's actually one of his better films as well. American Psycho. That book is so hard to read, and it's so disturbing. And the movie takes takes the character and the fundamentals and takes scenes and ideas from the book like it should, but it's a total different presentation, in my opinion, and a successful presentation as well. So the book is more disturbing, so it's hard to say is it better. But yeah, because you're reading this stuff, and I remember I mentioned this earlier, rereading pages of that book because I couldn't imagine what I just read, or I couldn't believe what I just read is what I meant.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just that disturbing.
I can't imagine
what I just read. and The Girl Next Door, Jack Ketchum. If you've
Jack Ketchum, yeah.
Yeah, that book is really, really hard to read, and the movie does a decent job. And there's kind of like 2 versions of it. There's the official movie rendition, and then An American Crime, which is based more on the on the transcripts of the actual case.
Both equally disturbing.
Yeah, both movies disturbing, and that book is disturbing.
Yeah.
Well, when you're reading the book, it's not presented. I mean, obviously, we know that it's nonfiction, but is it presented as fictional work, or is it presented as these are the accounts of what happened here?
There's a whole lead up. There's an interview in the version I read that Stephen King loved the book. So Stephen King's talking about the book, and so they give you the whole backstory. So you kind of get it through that introduction, and then when he actually writes the book, it's done totally from a fictional standpoint, in the sense of like kind of based on true events, but the book itself has its own presentation. Like it's about a man that is recounting a horrible time in his childhood, and how he feels, quite responsible, even though he was the one that kind of ended it all, how it affected him, and just how evil can dwell in small towns.
But it's not Jack Ketchum. Jack Ketchum isn't playing himself in the book.
No, not at all. No, it's a fictionalized story revolving around, like, he said he read the transcripts and wrote the book around the actual court documents that were, I think, presented at that case. But the book itself is a work of fiction based on true events.
Okay, that's
I'm
cool.
articulating
Then.
that correctly.
Yeah.
It's still a fictionalized version of it. The names are changed, whereas American Crime, the movie, I think uses the real names of the places of event. Jack Ketchum changes the town, changes like the names of the characters, changes a few of the major details for his story, for his rendition.
Yeah, and that's probably why The Girl Next Door plays more like a horror film, and an American Crime, even though it's horrific, is more of a drama horror.
How weird that they both came out in 2007, I had the same year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very bizarre.
Yeah, that is weird.
But anyway, so again, I give the edge. The movies are disturbing, and both should be seen. They could be considered endurance tests for certain audiences, for sure. But that book, because it's the written word, it's that much more powerful, because you're like, wow, someone wrote this. And it's disturbing.
Man,
Nice.
definitely. All right, so do we all answer?
Well, mine was long-winded, but I think it was saying the exact same thing you guys were saying. You know what? Halloween 3, the movie, was better than the novelization. based on what you read last time.
I'm getting that thing, and I'm turning it into an audiobook. Exactly, I'm telling you. That's my next career move.
Big black hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this. Yeah, the black hand. I'm gonna turn this. I'm gonna turn us into a tier 1 podcast, because the trick is to be an author first. So I am going. Well, I can't be an author. Well, I can, but it's easier for me to read an audio book of Halloween 3, because nobody else really wants to, right?
Does that make you an author if you get your tape published?
Of someone else's literally work.
I dropped the ball. I shit the bed. Sorry. Okay. Oh man. Okay. In the short time we have left, we have to talk about our 2016 watches here. Brandon, I mean, you're out of fucking control all month long.
I'm done.
So,
I'm done.
okay. Why don't you tell us something?
Okay.
I mean,
30-day challenge. 60 2016 movies watched
wow.
in 30 days.
Shit.
And to be honest, I could have watched more.
Man.
Let's just put this in perspective. When we did,
Why could you have watched more? Because you were enjoying yourself? I don't think so.
I have a lot. I actually probably I had 29 on the last recording that I'd watched. So I watched 31 in the last 2 weeks. And of those 31, I had probably 3 or 4 films that could potentially make the top 10. Now, more than likely, they'll be in the top 25, which I plan on doing this year. But I have a couple that will definitely be in the top 10 that I watched within the month.
Okay.
But I wanted to put it in perspective and say, when we did Don't Breathe, which wasn't that long ago, Don't Breathe was the 30th movie of the year. 30th 2016 movie I had seen this year, and now I've seen 107.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I told myself I wasn't going to do it again this year, and I did it. Okay,
Wow,
so
dude.
so I'll just breathe.
I'm at 77.
77?
I'm at 77. Last year I watched 78. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, last year I watched 159, so I guess I had to try to come close. All right, so I watched Toro Loco, Bloodthirsty. I watched Sleepover. I watched a film called Winners Tape All, which I highly recommend.
I like that too.
Yeah. I watched a film called Deranged, which I don't recommend. I watched a film called Summer Camp, which I also recommend.
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't like the camera work, but...
No, didn't it bother you? I really wanted to turn it off.
Really,
It was so
you know
bad.
what? For some reason it didn't, and you know what? It didn't bother me at all.
it was shaking so bad. It was worse than 31 was. Oh, man.
Yeah,
But anyway.
it didn't affect me. Sorority Slaughterhouse, horrible. Consumption, pretty horrible. Kill Your Friends, highly recommend it. I Know You're in There, The Ones Below, Ditch Day Massacre, Jack Goes Home, which I recommend, The Ritual, Creature Feature, Harvest Lake,
Whoa.
The Dark.
What'd you think of Creature Feature?
I gave it a 5.5.
Oh, you're higher than I was.
Yeah, nothing special. That's why I'm only giving shout outs to ones that I rated a little higher.
I had asked though. Just because
Where'd you have? I'm sorry.
What's that?
Jack Goes Home, because I saw Jack Goes Home. I gave it a 7.5. What did you give it?
That's exactly what I gave it. 7.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I watched A Dark Stranger. I watched a film called Fear Inc., which
liked it.
Which was terrific, and it's filled with a ton of twists. I just want to say its major downfall for me was that it just had one too many twists.
You see, that's what elevated that movie. I ended up giving that movie an 8.5. But let me tell you something. It's high, but you know what? There's a movie I watched years ago. Well, it's a known movie, but you've seen that movie Wild Things, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen Wild Things one time and one time only, and here's what I remember. I really enjoyed it, and there was when I thought there was a twist and they twisted me out, another twist came in and it blew me away, and I was like, wow, that's my remembrance of Wild Things. I could be wrong, but that's how I remember it. So I called this movie the Wild Things of Horror. And because I enjoyed it so much and I'm rating it 8.5, I almost don't want to watch it again because it was the twists that kept elevating it. So now knowing those twists, it may not have the same impact. So I may never watch it again, but I give it 8.5.
What movie was this again?
It's called Fear Inc.
Fear Inc. What did you rate it?
I gave it a 7.5.
Okay.
I would have been 8 or higher if it just... I get, all the twists and why they had to be that way, but it's kind of like one too many twists kind of made it seem like the whole movie was moot.
See, I love that shit.
but it was still a good movie. Definitely check it out. I watched a film called Death in Buenos Aires, a film called Immune. I saw Ouija, Origin of Evil, Flanagan. In my book, he is 5 for 5 now.
I agree.
I'm not saying this was.
It's not on par. It's his worst movie, but it's still good. How's that?
Exactly. I would probably rank this as number 5 of the 5, but he's still a great filmmaker, and a lot of things I enjoyed, some things I didn't enjoy, but overall, I gave it a solid 7.
I gave it a 7.5, so I'm right with you. It was good. It was good. Yeah. You know what? It reminded me a lot of Conjuring 2 with that old school setup, how it took place in the 60s and shit like. But I enjoyed that stuff more than Conjuring 2 because Conjuring 2 was too busy with all kinds of family members, and this was smaller. It was 3 main people, and I enjoyed that aspect of it more than having a whole family. That's just me. I'm not saying that it's better than Conjuring 2. I'm just saying I enjoyed the first act and the setup a little more because I like getting to know those characters. So.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I mean, as far as a Ouija movie goes, it's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a great filmmaker. I watched a film called House of Purgatory, which I recommend. Not a great movie, but a fun Halloween movie. Dolly Deadly, terrible.
I knew that.
The Horde was great. I watched a film called Three Beauties, which might be doesn't really count as horror, but I'll throw it in there anyway. Me and My Mates versus the Zombie Apocalypse, a lot of fun.
Huh.
The Tag Along, Late Night Double Feature, Recovery, Dark Amazon, Under the Shadow, which I highly recommend, Under the Shadow, and I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, which I watched twice.
Okay, so what got your highest rating? And I'm not. If it was Pretty Thing, you can't say that now, of course. But
I didn't even put a rating. But Under the Shadow had an 8. Did I have any other 8? Kill Your Friends had an 8, and Winter Tapes All had an 8.
Okay, I gave it a 7, but I did enjoy it.
I loved it. See. I thought it was a real documentary. Nobody told me this was a faux documentary.
I had to find out, but it's set up brilliantly, so everybody should see
It's got so much charm to it.
It's kind of like not as much going on, but like a WNUF Halloween special, the way they had,
that's one I really need to check out. I've been wanting to see that one for a while.
For sure. And, that's on Prime. And I'm going to mention 2 more movies quick that are on Prime that are found footage. And granted, they only get a 6.5, but if you're a found footage fan, I know we all are here, The Break-In and Bad Ben.
Yeah, I didn't see Bad Ben. I saw The Break-In, which I really liked until the very end.
I liked the end until someone told me something that made me go, oh, shit. That didn't make sense. But I still enjoyed my time with the movie. So that's good. So 8.5, Scare Campaign. I'm not sure if I mentioned it last time or not.
So good.
I gave that an 8.5 as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I gave it an 8. I love Scare Campaign.
Yeah, it's good shit. So since then, I've watched Scare Campaign, The Break-In, Bad Ben, Winter's Tape All, Dead of Winter, Jack Goes Home, Ditch Day Massacre, and The Greasy Strangler. And more. Ouija, I've said. Fear Inc., I've said. The Dark Stranger, I saw. And Pretty Thing, of course. The Greasy Strangler.
Why did you do that?
It's basically like a trauma film. Honestly, and I'm not a big fan of trauma films. It's just there's some good, funny parts to it. There's some memorable dialogue, but by the end, like the last 15 minutes, I just kind of wanted it to be over. It had enough, right? And I really felt for the lead character because of what happened with him for the girl. So I mean, I was into the character, and it's kind of saying something. And I was like, I felt really bad for him, but it made no sense how she jumped around and
bullshit.
Bullshit artist, right? And they took things too far, almost like a Family Guy joke that goes on like 3 or 4 times too far. You know how they do those things? And they're great if you're on acid, but I'm not on acid. So It's like, it goes on a little too long. You can only call somebody a bullshit artist 5 or 6 times in a row back and then change it up and say you're a horse shit artist, and it'd be funny so many times. It's just, enough is enough. And like the potato thing, Porto. Yeah, it was funny 4 times. I didn't need it 8. You know what I'm saying?
What did you say? Porto. What did you say?
It was funny.
It's weird because I'm the same way. I feel the same way. Like, I laughed at a lot of things, but by the end, I was like, this needs to be over. But I gave it a really low score, but I, it did have its funny parts. I love when he farts in the blind guy's face.
Yeah, that was funny.
I don't know why. It's really a funny, gross out film, but not for me. Like, I'm not buying this film. I'm not.
Right.
I will not be checking it out again.
No. But, Winter's Tape All was good. Dead of Winter, I gave it a 7.5.
Good. I'm glad I recommended that to you. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was good. So that's really all I could really get into. Everything else, there's, nothing else. Everything else is, but nothing was bad. I mean, Greasy Strangler, I'd give a 5. Ditch Day Massacre, I'd give a 5. Started off good, and then, I don't know, just...
Yeah, Ditch Day Massacre was disappointing.
Yeah, it was. But, I mean, everything else was in the 6.5, 7 area, and then a couple standouts. So, not bad. Here's what I noticed about this year. A lot of movies this year are getting 6s, where last year they got 8s. That is the difference between last year and this year. But this year is more top-heavy. And I'm just going to leave it at that. My top 10 is... It is.
My last girlfriend was a little top-heavy. Hey.
Dude, my top 10 is going to... It might be all 9s. It might be all 9s. That's how good this year was.
No, you have The Witch. You gave The Witch a 10, so we know...
Oh, yeah, and a 10. Yes. Whoops.
That's okay, because mine's going to be very short.
Oh, do it up, homie.
You got to save that for the Suspiria show.
I couldn't help myself.
Nice.
So, very well, obviously the movie we're watching tonight, and I watched The Conjuring 2, which I was saving. I was saving it. I was actually going to watch it for tomorrow night. And I watched Poltergeist, and I decided to watch The Conjuring 2.
What'd you think?
I was very disappointed. I was.
What? My...
I know. I love the opening. I loved the opening with the link to Amityville and the Amityville possession. Oh, awesome. And don't get me wrong, the movie looked beautiful. It looked amazing. The acting was strong. There's some good scares in it. I just found it dull, long, and kind of boring, and I just lost interest. And all in all, I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10.
Wow. I'm shocked.
I give it an 8.
I gave it a 9.
I'm very mad because that and Don't Breathe were, I thought, contenders to be in my top 2 spots this year because I loved Conjuring so much. Conjuring was my favorite horror movie of that year.
I like Conjuring 2 better than the first one.
Yeah, I don't.
No, that's cool. I mean, I get it, but I was so engaged. I loved the soundtrack. I loved everything in that film. That 2 hours flew by.
No, I turned to my daughter, and I'm watching. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. She's like, yeah, it's kind of slow, and I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I could go for slow. It was almost like it did it on purpose. You're like, you could have easily trimmed this down. 2 hours and 15 minutes is long. This is not The Exorcist. This is not like, I mean, let's just trim it down here. Come on, guys.
I agree with that. Yep. I enjoyed everything I saw, though. I wouldn't say it was dull or anything like that, but it was good. It was on par with the first one. I can say that. I at this point, I think I like them both equally, mostly because Part 2 was all original, and Part 1 was all stuff that we had seen before. And I'm not knocking it because it's still an 8 out of 10, and I still really enjoyed it. But everything in this one was more original. It wasn't a bunch of callbacks to other horror movies.
That's so funny that you say that because I thought this was the one that felt like been there, saw that.
Really?
It's so weird, and I was all in. Like I loved Insidious 1 and 2, The Conjuring. Frickin' I enjoyed Dead Silence, and of course Saw. So I was all in for this, and I couldn't believe how. Now maybe I'll have to go back and watch it now with the initial reaction has gone. I'll give it the Dave Z second view before the end of the year show. I'm definitely going to do that with Don't Breathe.
Oh yeah.
And assuming that we'll get a chance to see it. When does it Don't Breathe come to DVD or Blu-ray or I guess whatever? I'm not going to buy it, but I'll check it on iTunes or whatever.
I'm sure it'll be before the year end.
Wait a second now. Let me ask you something. First of all, let me say this. Conjuring 2, I have it on Vudu. Somebody left the fucking thing on Facebook, in one of the groups I'm in. Somebody put the digital code there. So I put it in, and I've had it in my Vudu on my PS4 for a while. So I am absolutely going to rewatch it before that show. So the Dave Z second watch, who knows? Maybe it'll elevate it. Maybe it'll knock it down. We'll see.
It'll elevate it because it's amazing.
People are all over this one. Some people say it's perfect. It's better than the first one, like you just said, Brandon. Some people say it's on par. Some people are disappointed. I mean, it's all over. I guess like all the big ones that you're going to get.
Yeah, I don't even want to say better because I loved the first one too. I was blown away by this one. I just loved every aspect of it. And for such a long movie, look, I'm restless. On 80-minute movies, I'm checking the time.
Yeah.
And this is a 2-hour plus film, and I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time.
And you know what I found with this month, even though I've been busy doing the movie and this, that, and the other thing, the reality is that I don't want to, like The Conjuring 2, I wanted to see. There's no question about it. And there's a lot that I really want to see. But I guess maybe Halloween's nostalgia time again. I want to revisit the ones that I love or that I don't love. Like, I mean, I watched Halloween 5, 6. I'm going to watch H2O Resurrection. I'm going to watch them all. Because this time of year, I love watching those type of movies.
Stop.
Yeah.
Today is the 30th. Tomorrow's Halloween. You're going to tell me that you're going to spend your fucking Halloween watching Resurrectum? Are you fucking serious?
Well, at least H2O because I have to do a podcast on Tuesday on H2O as well. It wouldn't be my first choice.
Now it comes out. Now I understand.
Well, I've watched them all. I've watched all the other Halloweens already, other than the zombie ones. I'm going in order for this Halloween, and like I would love to get trick or treating again. Trick or treat one more time tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
There was something I wanted to ask you, Christian. You saw 31, didn't you?
I have not watched it yet.
Oh. Okay. This will continue on our top 10 show. Okay, because we were talking about biggest disappointments. Okay.
Don't breathe. The boy.
Now, not more disappointing than people that admittedly, we're all Rob Zombie fans, and we all really liked at least Lords of Salem, right? It was
I
Oh,
like
yeah,
Rob
yeah.
Zombie, but I don't like. I never go into his films like, oh, I'm gonna be blown away. I enjoy all his films though. I
No,
enjoyed
I look
31.
forward to all of them. Like I look.
Oh, what?
Like House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil Rejects, Lords of Salem. Loved it's the two Halloweens are my disappointment movies. For
Lords
me.
of Salem, dude, the step down from Lords of Salem to 31 is fucking just astronomical to me. I just rewatched Lords of Salem again a few weeks ago, and I still love it. And to see how good he did technically with H2 and then Lords of Salem, and then what he did with 31, I don't know. What
Is it a budgetary thing?
No, because he had the same budget that he had with he had more of a budget than he had with Lords of Salem. I think one was 2 million, one was 2.5. Either way, it was the same ballpark. So that can't be the excuse.
Yeah, you can't make a decent movie for $2.5 million these days.
Yeah, my ass. Lords of Salem did a pretty good job, man.
No, I love Lords.
Yeah, good shit. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We got to get on with our reviews, and our first one is what's the name of it? Oh yes, I know what it's called. The Innocents.
The Innocents, 1961, directed by Jack Clayton, based off the novel by Henry James. A young governess for 2 children becomes convinced that the house and grounds are haunted. That is simple and to the point.
It's short and sweet.
It is short and
Yeah.
sweet. Finally, not like a spoiler, you know.
Of course, she doesn't just come to the conclusion that it's haunted. She comes to all these crazy conclusions that, frankly, are, especially at the time, was very surprising that she deducted all these things in the time that she did. And it's not a knock on the movie. I'm not shitting on it. It was surprising. That's all. I was like, so she put this and this together to come up with this. That's something you would have seen like nowadays in the era of we've already seen a bunch of different kind of movies. And I don't want to say what they are because it's kind of spoiler territory. But
Yeah, this film's
hopefully
definitely
you
ahead
guys-
of its time.
it is ahead of its time. Now, Christian, this was the movie you mentioned on the first show that you saw and it scared you? Was that what it was?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, like my dad was a big movie buff, so he always put movies on. And I remember this one coming on, and I remember it scaring the pants off of me. And I said I remember actually looking at the wall instead of the TV because I wanted to stay in the room and not look scared in front of my dad and mom, but I was not watching the movie at all. And I remember being terrified of it. Like, this is probably, I'd say, my 4th time seeing the movie.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. Well, this is my first time.
Okay.
Yeah, first time watch for me too, which is interesting because I know we talk about like films we haven't seen, big films. This was always at the top of my list in terms of really popular films that I hadn't seen yet.
Well, it's good because this is what you say, Dave. This is what the podcast is about. It gets us maybe seeing a movie that we have on that list, but you just need that push so that you actually watch it. And I have a lot of those on my list as well. And so I was really glad to revisit this movie because it had been a while. It looks beautiful. One thing about it is they were doing color films at this time, as we well know.
Yeah.
But what a great idea to film in black and white, just kind of like Psycho did the year before. I mean, it just adds to the creepiness of
And
the movie.
this film's actually based on a Broadway adaptation of Henry James's novella, so it's more in line with the Broadway adaptation. But I gotta say, obviously, Deborah Kerr, she's an amazing actress, was an amazing actress. But these kids, were these not 2 of the best child performances you've ever seen in a film?
Yeah, especially the boy, but yeah, definitely. They both were great.
Yeah,
They
I
were
mean,
great, yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I was blown away. I'm watching it. I'm like, Jesus, they don't act like this anymore.
No, at first they're a little precocious, like at this time. That was like the time. The imagery is obviously it's a plus for this movie because it stuck with me for years. I remembered the guy in the window, and you want to talk Exorcist 3. I think the Exorcist 3 lifted that hallway jump scare scene from this movie. This movie just doesn't have the stinger that goes with it. This movie does it silent. And I'm talking about when she walks down the hallway, and I'm going to butcher the names, but the woman character, the sort of glides by the hallway.
Oh yeah, Miss Jessel.
Yeah, Jessel or Giselle, yeah. Giselle. Giselle. Yeah.
Giselle.
Jizzle. This
yeah.
Jizzle.
Giselle.
Jizzle my jizzle.
Yeah. Speckle my schmuck. Anyway, so the she floats by, and the second I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, Exorcist 3. It's the first thing that popped in my head. I don't know why, but it just reminded me of Exorcist 3 right away.
Wow. It reminded me of fucking the pretty thing that lives in the house, because I had seen it the night before.
These films match up very well.
Yeah.
In terms of their look. This film does have probably one of the most despicable characters I've ever seen in film. The uncle.
Yeah.
Is he not like the worst?
I don't have time for the kids. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
At least he's honest. At least he still wanted the best for him. I'll give him that, because he inherited the kids. They're not his children, but he said, hey, I want to hire the very best to take care of me, live in this big, beautiful mansion. Just, I trust you. You seem this, and I'm not defending him, but I'm saying at least he had, something in mind. It wasn't like a Cinderella thing where he was fucking making them clean clothes and fucking wash floors days and night and abusing them.
That's the
This
rat's
isn't the
job.
girl next door. What, Matt's job?
The rats.
Oh, the rat Cinderella. Yeah.
And Matt's. That's good.
And
Matt's
Matt's.
job.
Rats and his rats.
Wazelle, get back to scrubbing the floors.
Right, yeah. And
You want back on
bring
the
that
show?
Halloween-
Yes or no?
Yeah, bring that Halloween 3 quiz with you. Yes.
That thing's not going to write itself, Wazelle.
Did you guys think that this woman seemed a little bit too old for the position? Or is it me? Wouldn't you want someone really young to raise children? She looked like she was at least in her, I don't know.
I think she was probably in her 40s because she already had a career that I think was 20 years old at this point.
Yeah, she was around 40-ish, but definitely a little old. But the weird thing was that she referenced that it's her first governess job, and she's almost shocked that she gets the job. So you almost get a sense like she's even shocked, like he doesn't know anything about me. So it's gonna be
it was just
crazy
about her.
from there.
It was her character, I guess. I guess the uncle liked her character and just figured she was trustworthy. I don't know.
And she was hot. He liked the way she looked.
He liked the way she looked. Yeah, this is 1961 too.
Yeah.
Different times.
Did you guys take a shot every time the kids called her dear?
Oh, he was great. Only the wind, my dear.
Man, Miles is a pimp.
Yeah, he is.
Just plants one right on.
Right,
her.
yeah. Goes right in for the kill.
Yeah. Flora creeped me out, man.
Really?
She was creeping me out.
She was fine for the most part, I thought. I thought that...
she was creeping me out the whole movie. I'm like, I don't trust her. I don't trust Miles. I'm like, I don't trust any of these kids. The children of the corn nest.
Come on, Flora, she was sweet. The butterfly everywhere. Did you notice how many butterflies were in this? Everywhere she walked, there was a butterfly.
Wasn't she the one who was watching the spider eat the butterfly?
Oh, and eventually that did happen.
Yeah, she's like, oh, look at this cute spider eating this butterfly. Like,
that's true. That did happen. And does that happen? Do spiders eat butter? Have you ever seen a butterfly in a spider web?
I've never, but
no.
I can't imagine a little girl would enjoy watching a spider eat a butterfly.
Well, no, but it was just that is fucked up. That was our first warning sign. You're right. You're right about that. That's true. I'll tell you what, I watched this movie. Here's not two people, but I watched this movie last night with my mother and my daughter. That doesn't happen much because of something happening in my life right now. I'm spending Saturday evenings at my mother's house, and my daughter's spending the night there with me. So last week we watched Poltergeist 2 and 3, and last week and last night we watched this movie. And I figured my mother would want to watch it because it's from 61. She said she didn't remember it, and my daughter's always up for a movie. Okay. After half an hour, she was kind of bored, and she's like, how long is this movie? But the longer it went on, the more she got into it.
Yeah.
So, but she remarked about that butterfly thing. She's like, a spider's eating a butterfly? I said, well, I guess. I don't know. But she questioned. It was funny because she actually laughed at a couple of them. My mother, they both kind of laughed at a couple of scenes which were supposed to be scary, but whatever. Ultimately, by the time the end credits rolled, everybody was just kind of like, wow, okay, that was cool.
This movie's creepy. This movie's genuinely scary, and it's 55 years old. It still packs a scare.
I hear you. I'll tell you that scene in the hallway. I don't know if it's maybe it is. It's that long sequence with the children. It was when Miles ended up being outside. That whole thing.
Yeah.
She's walking in the hallway, and the way the candles are lit, and she's walking, and the laughing, and the music. It is the lighting. That whole sequence is probably the best part of the film. I was really intrigued at the way that whole thing was going. It was fucking spooky as shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys like? I know that fucking. There's stuff in spoilers. I mean, but I'll tell you what. If you guys haven't seen this movie, you should see it. Because admittedly, I don't watch a lot of old movies. You know what I mean? I just don't. And it's like what my daughter said in the beginning. Why would you want to watch a movie that's black and white? I'm like, well, you just might. It doesn't mean anything. You might like it because it's black and white. You know, and after a few minutes, I was like, maybe this would have been better in color because she's walking through the garden slowly, and it looks like it's kind of like, you know, it looks really nice.
I love it in black and white. It's so beautiful.
But it does end up being
That's what I say too. Yeah, great
It
lighting.
does.
Great lighting.
Yeah. I was drawn in the minute that she found out that Miles was coming home, and the fact that she thought like Flora was almost like clairvoyant calling it. Miles is coming. Miles is coming. She knows like something's going on, and then she just wants to find out what happened at school, and he won't say, and it's so good. So much suspense and tension.
That was one weird thing I thought about how she kind of dismissed what happened at school. You know, like Christian, you're a parent. You know, you can relate. If someone said that one of your children was suspended for putting their hands on another child, I don't think that you would say, "Oh, there must be some mistake. I'll worry about it later." You know.
Well, I think that was for a plot device in the movie because
I know.
Again, then she goes and talks to them when it's bedtime, and she brings it up because she's still getting to know them, and she was won over by his charm. So I think she was just a little, maybe taken aback by the reasoning. And I bought it only because, yeah, you're right. Like if I was she's not the parent though. Remember, she's there to look after them, and as a parent, you're right. I'd fly off the handle and go, "What the hell's going on?" But based on the scenario in the movie here, I buy it. I can allow it. And it's not like she let it go for days. It was literally hours later at night when she put them to sleep.
Yeah, and it's not a huge passage of time in the film. And even when you do get the explanation of what happened at school, it's very cryptic.
Yes, it is.
It's very cryptic. And it, based on the backstory that is explored throughout the whole film with Miss Jessel and Quint, I don't think it's exactly what people would initially thought it was.
Yeah.
And I'll mention that stuff in spoilers. I'm talking in riddles a little bit, I guess, but
it's true. Did anybody think that that Family Guy got that whole thing with Rupert from this movie? You know what I'm talking about, right? Rupert,
the tortoise. The tortoise.
Well, in the movie, the tortoise is Rupert, right? But when they're talking about Rupert, doesn't it remind you of that's fucking what's his name? Stewie's teddy bear is called Rupert, and he has that English accent. So
I didn't know.
Maybe.
Oh, I thought it right away because I never hear the name Rupert. So to hear it in an English type accent like the girl has in this movie, and I immediately thought of Stewie. Oh, this is Rupert. I don't know. Okay. Who else is named fucking Rupert? Anyway. That's what I thought. I found some humor in that. I also found some humor in, remember when they pick up, what's his name for the first time? Miles. And then he's getting all smooth on her in the car. He goes, "How does a woman like you?" What the hell did he say to her? "How are you, single or something?" What the hell was it?
Doesn't he say she's much too pretty to be a governess or something?
Yes, you're too pretty to be a governess, and then she tells him, "You're too young to be, whatever, chivalrous," or whatever the hell she said to him.
Yeah.
But the funny part is that right after she says that, she kind of laughs it off, but then she throws the flowers out the window that fucking the kid gave her.
No, Flora throws them out.
What?
Yeah, it's Flora who throws them out.
Oh, I just saw the flowers flying. I didn't know Flora threw them.
Yeah, Flora threw them out, and then she's looking at the ground. Almost like she's jealous that like Miles' new girl in his life is the governess and not her.
Oh, see, that's why we do this show.
And that's why we keep me around.
That's right. How about that Halloween tree statue?
One reason.
Yeah, barely a reason.
Hey, it helps.
Did you
Who
say
wants
there's
a
a
show?
Did you say there's a Halloween 3 reference in this movie?
Yes, that statue. The Halloween 3 statue. You know what I'm talking about, right? When they're looking at that statue and the fucking bug crawls out of its mouth.
Oh yeah,
It's hilarious.
that was creepy.
Like that-
the
Yeah.
statue with just holding hands like another statue was broken away from it.
She's in a beautiful garden. She just happens to be behind the bush.
I like being behind the bush.
Yeah, I know you do.
I like being mouth deep in the bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there's two balls. The way that they did the ghosts so matter of factly, like they weren't even ghosts. Like it literally, that was scary. Like it was just a guy up in that tower, or I call it the tower, but you know what I mean. Up just looking above the woman just across in the field. You know, she seemed like her. Like descent in bad. No, again, we're gonna be all talking in riddles. I think until we can actually feel free to talk in spoilers.
Yeah. Well, she even says they're still alive at one point. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Miles is just up there playing with his pet pigeons.
Yeah.
Miles, you have a pigeon on your head.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I love
Sitting on
that.
its head. I can't believe they had a kid do that in a movie. I mean, wow. I mean, they have a pigeon on your head sitting
Miles should
there for all
have
that
gotten an
time.
Oscar just for having a pigeon on his head.
Right? How do you trust it not to shit all over you? Oh man,
It was so
it's
good.
a pigeon.
The one thing I'll say that I guess we could leave till spoilers, but I think is there's no overall resolution to this movie, is there?
No, it's sort of interpreted how you want to.
Yeah.
You know, as a governess, I mean, I know her main job is to take care of the children, but it seems like Mrs. Gross and just the rest of the staff of the house pretty much do everything.
Yeah, it's like they've got it under control. She's just there to it's almost like a dentist.
Yeah, she's just like walking around the house.
Well, it's like when you go to a dentist, you see the dental hygienist. They're the ones like poke, prod, clean your teeth, give you the fluoride, shine you up, and then the dentist comes and goes, yeah, it's looking all good. See you later.
Yeah, sure.
That's why I call
Now
it.
I
don't know how I drew that analogy, but that's how I looked at her. Like she literally just they have it under control, and there's like a handful of them, right? Like at least two.
Yeah, there's Miss Gross, there's Anna, there's the cook. There's a bunch of them.
They're fine.
Yeah, they don't need her.
Maybe they're not as hot. Maybe that's what boils
Yeah.
down to.
And not as young, and they need someone to tuck him in at night and play with them. You know, because most of the time they don't. The servants, they don't play with the children. They tend to them, but they don't play.
Miss Gross would play with the kids a little bit.
Yeah, I don't remember what she was playing. I don't know. I just I get it's funny, the whole dentist thing, because you are kind of right. You know?
Dave, I did have a note saying that Kerr was older than the character in the book was, so it must have just been a casting choice to bring her. Just to go back to that, but I guess the initial character was a younger, supposed to be. So although they say she's youthful looking, she's definitely older than what the character in the book would be.
Yeah. Well, she was 39, 40 when they shot it. 39 probably when they shot it. So I'm assuming that they were probably going for late 20s or something for her in the movie. They always do that in the old movies. You'll see a guy who says, "Oh yeah, I'm 28 years old," and you could tell they're like 47.
Right. Yeah, it happens a lot. I'll tell you one thing else I liked. The way that one scene did happen when they showed the guy in the tower, the whole thing with Miles and the birds on his head when she first see the way everything, the birds all of a sudden stopped chirping, and the girl, what's her name, Flora, was outside singing, and it stopped, and it just kind of got dark. That was cool. They set that up perfectly. Just all of a sudden, it's like impending doom. Boom! She looks up, and dreadful things are happening. She sees this, figure rising up there. I was like, that was well done. There was a lot of stuff that was just well done as far as.
Do you think? Oh, go ahead, Christian.
No, it's funny that you started with "Do you think?" because I was going to say the same thing. Go ahead, Brandon. You shoot your idea out first, and then I'll follow up.
I was going to say, do you think that Deborah Kerr's character, Miss Giddens, needed a little bit more backstory on her to maybe draw a little bit more conclusion in the end? I mean, it certainly would have helped, but the fact that we know so little about her is what makes it so mysterious in the end.
I'm fine with the way it is.
I'm fine with it too. I'm fine
It
with
gets
it.
too cliche. It gets too cliche. It's like that shit, and I hate to say it because I love the movie, but I watched it not too long, and I do rate it high. But that thing in Hostel, how they had to throw in that little bit about I saw a girl drown when I was a kid, and I didn't save her in time. And then at the end, he has that character arc where he saves the Asian girl. That's what I got out of it, and it was unnecessary. I don't need that stuff in my stories. Maybe some people love it. I don't need that. Where you see something placed and you know it's going to come back later for a reason. Why can't we just accept movies for what they are without having to have backstory and reason?
Well, in this case, we did.
I know, and I'm not complaining about it. That's what I'm saying. But it seems like a lot of people, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They need that in their film. And it's going to come again when we do our second movie. I'm going to bring that point up again because I can see the same type of comparison. I don't need everything to be, and I don't mean to even say spoon-fed because it sounds insulting. I don't need it. I'm not trying to insult anything. I just think that I don't need all that stuff. It's just you're watching a film. I don't need to know everything about the character unless it's really important or it's going to be an amazing revelation. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I was fine.
I just feel like after watching this movie and letting it sit for a while, this movie is really Miss Giddens' movie. This is really about her.
Yeah, it is. I still don't know exactly what happened, but yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
that's why I just put that up there.
But that's okay.
And I was just going to ask because you're drawing a lot more. I was going for a more simplistic. Do you think this would have benefited? Well, okay. So once again, I'm in my family room and I'm watching it on mute in behind. I'm at the scene. The woman just went through the hallway again. It's creepy even on mute. And I'll get back to that because that's what my point was about. But now I'm at the scene where Miles is choking her. It's a really freaky kind of scene, and it only stops because Flora comes in.
Yes.
Oh.
Man.
Yes, but it makes sense. It ties together so well because I was very confused by that scene, and then by the end of the movie, I didn't actually understand it by the end of the movie. It was actually not until today when I was looking up some stuff, and I was just like, oh, now it makes sense. I kind of had to think about it, but it all made perfect sense to me. And I could almost, I feel like the more we talk about it, and the more I think about it, I can almost draw like a conclusion that makes sense for me. But I love the fact that it's still a little bit open for interpretation, and that scene is very good with Miles.
It's funny because
he's like got her in a headlock.
He's right, but what they say, she's like, stop doing it, and then she goes, I mean it, and then he says, do you?
That's a JP thing. JP does that. This is a great movie. Is it though?
You're right. That is a shit.
That whole hide and seek part. That's where a lot of the scares happen. Like you have that whole thing, the woman going there, then the Miles thing, and then she goes down and hides behind the curtain, and that's where the guy appears in the window, which was the scene that stuck with me as a kid that scared the absolute bejesus out of me. And,
oh man!
And it's done.
Flora humming the song. Flora humming the whole movie. That song, creepy. The fact, the very first, one of the first few scenes when she's walking up to the house and she hears someone calling for Flora, and we never find out who it was.
Right. Yeah, that is creepy.
And that's another thing that makes it so perfect for open interpretation because...
Well, yeah, that's where I say, and again, maybe we'll just have to wait till the spoilers to get into it because the theories will get into a lot of things that I think could be considered spoiler.
Yeah, we're just jumping around talking about random scenes that are good. But...
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You guys want to give a head rating?
Yeah.
All right. Go for it, man.
Although dated... this movie still holds up, I think, quite well. I found it, again, that nostalgia factor kicked back in. So I'll give it a full head explosion.
Nice. Yeah, I first time watch for me, when I opened the DVD, I saw it had a sticker on it saying, redeem this coupon, expires December 2005. So that's how long I owned the film and never watched it. And
wow.
Shame on me because, yeah, full head explosion. Great film. Love it. Great atmosphere.
Nice. Wow. I'm full head explosion too. Wow. Nice. So cool. Wow.
And, what though? There's a reason why it's always ranked as, one of the greatest, horror ghost films, haunted films.
It's funny that you say that because I just, it's one of those ones. My whole thing came from my dad just having it on, and it being on TV, and it just stuck with me. And again, I didn't check it out probably until my late teens when I was trying to remember, and I was asking my dad, and he remembered. before I had to try to work on Internet Movie Database. Before that was even a thing, because there's no internet when I was at that, or no internet that was widely used. I guess rephrase.
You had to go to that big book.
Yeah, I had to go. Well, I had to go to my dad and say, "What was that movie that scared the shit out of me when I was sitting on the couch?" And he remembered. He's like, "It was The Innocents," and I'm like, "Okay, perfect."
Nice, man. That's cool. Brandon, I think it's better off that you waited until now to watch it. If you would have watched it in 2005, you may not have appreciated it as much.
Yeah, maybe
I know
not.
how I was 10 years ago with my viewing. Some movies now that I absolutely love, 10 years ago, I may not have. I'm a much more patient viewer now. And this movie, you're better off, even though you have to pay attention. Okay, let me just say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, but you have to really pay attention in the beginning, because I had to rewind it a couple times because my mother or my daughter would start talking out of nowhere. And I'm not an uptight person like that, but they were talking really fast. Remember how in the old movies how fast they talk and you can't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell did they just say? The guy was, especially the uncle in the beginning, goes, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm missing. So 2 or 3 times I went ahead and go back 2 minutes prior and really pay attention to all the dialogue, or you miss out on shit. So that's what I did in this movie. I had to pay attention. And years ago, I may not have been as patient into the dialogue, but I didn't want to miss anything, and I'm glad I didn't.
So I guess the obvious question would be, what are your thoughts? Do you think the children were possessed, or do you think Miss Giddens was sort of having a mental breakdown?
Absolutely possessed.
Yeah, and they played with the mental breakdown quite a bit throughout the movie, but she instantly gets to that area and hears someone calling out for Flora. So unless she was already, unless you're supposed to be under the impression she's broken from the get-go, and why would she hear someone calling up for that girl's name right away?
You know what? You know what's crazy? I'm absolutely the opposite. I absolutely think that she's mentally unstable. Because all the children's behavior is justified. There were other people in the house. It could have just have easily been someone else calling Flora's name.
Dude, you think somebody acts like Miles, a child? That person is 100%
the reason
has
why
a full-grown man inside of him.
The reason why Miles. No.
That's why Brandon could relate.
Oh, that's why this guy got a full head explosion. This is a full-grown man inside a child.
Oh shit!
Oh, Dave, that's all you, man. Good one. No, listen. Okay, so obviously, well, I'm not gonna say that, but Quint and Miss Jezzel had a very aggressive, angry relationship that was almost like a dom submission type relationship.
Yeah.
And they left the doors open. So that's why Miles acts this way. He worshipped Quint. Quint was the only man in his life. He saw Quint as a father figure, and so he sees this. That's why he's choking her and saying, is it bothering you? Because that's probably the type of foreplay that he was witnessing Quint and Miss Jezzel engaging in.
There's 2 ways to take him, but why? Okay, then why the fuck what happened at the end then? If there's nothing supernatural going on here, why would that kid drop the way he did at the end of the film? There's no way to explain that.
He was frightened. She scared him. She scared Flora into having a breakdown, and then she scared Miles so bad.
To death.
Fucking Flora! Oh my god!
That screaming was ridiculous.
Oh my god!
She sounded like a chimpanzee. It was great. It's not meant to be funny, but
it was unsettling because
it
it was so long.
Right.
When you're watching a movie and there's a scream, you're like, okay, but with the scream, it just keeps going and going and going. You're like, holy shit! I put the volume down because I'm like, the kids are gonna, because that's typically when the kids come running in and go, what are you watching, Dad?
Right.
I just want to enjoy the movie.
Firing against her because they're whispering to each other. Children do that.
Yeah.
The fact, look, it can be like. I could just as easily agree with you and say, yeah, they were possessed. I mean, we clearly see the spirits, but we only ever see them from Miss Giddens' perspective.
Yeah, but what about the kids laughing at her in that one scene?
It's like he's being puppeteered or something like that. They're in the greenhouse or whatever it was, and he's in the window and he's like right behind and he's laughing and he's now again it could be her disillusion. You're right. You could view this 2 ways, but
exactly.
Yeah. And there's no clear answer because
that's how I see it.
the movie doesn't give you a resolution.
Even where the scene where Flora's looking out into the field, and she's like almost shaking her, like, you see her, right? You see her, and her fear in terms of saying, no, I don't see it, you're scaring me, before she has her breakdown and goes all chimp, is genuine. Seems genuine anyway. That's why I interpret it as that's why I asked earlier about wanting to know more about Deborah Kerr's character.
Okay.
But the fact that you don't is what makes it great, because now we can argue it both ways. I could accept it both ways.
What about Miles'
Which you usually
speech?
do.
Hey.
What about Miles' speech? Come on, dude.
Yeah, he's doing it right now with the candle.
He fucking read that.
Oh, he's like
Dude,
Shakespearean
talking about
actor.
his lord. Oh, that dude. No kid does that unless something's fucking going on. That's just it. It's just too. It's too much to just be in her head, and that's a coincidence that they talk and act that way. It's just, I don't know.
Well,
and they show other people reacting to it too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If they didn't show Mrs. Gross reacting to it as him playing a game, let's not forget these kids are extremely privileged and high class, so they're very well educated.
Yeah,
so
I get
the fact that he's reciting a poem like that. Look, I can't recite a poem like that at 36 years old now, let alone when I'm 10 years old or however old he is. But I almost just bought it like he's just reciting a poem. What else do you do back then? You play dress up and recite poems.
Well, I won't take umbrage with it, what you're saying, because the way you said it at first, you were like 100% absolutely breakdown.
No, because I like the way you said, right. I'm absolutely possessed, and I'm like, absolutely mental break. So it's like, but I like both. I like both. I really do.
I agree with you. I like both too. So I'll drop the whole argument about it.
I'm not sure. The one thing that I was a little bit thrown off by, and this could actually play more towards my theory of her just being a little bit more mentally broken, and because of the fact that she kind of was weirded out by Miles kissing her on the mouth earlier in the film, is why she plants a kiss on him at the end after he dies.
Very bizarre. Yeah, I know. It was very
bizarre.
Yeah, very weird for the time.
It was weird. It made sense though for that movie. Like the whole ending was bizarre. But I liked it for it.
And they do play both angles. They really do play both angles. Like they're being puppeteered by these sort of ghosts or spirits, or though she's the only one that saw it, and it was her mental anguish and her repressed nature or whatnot.
Exactly. She could be mentally broken, and now this repressed desire to kiss Miles just comes to her, or it could be she's possessed by Miss Giselle. What is it? Giselle. What is it?
It's Galileo Jizzle.
Ever since Christian said Giselle, Miss Jazzle.
See, now it's coming back on you because you made fun of him for
I
Galileo.
Did make fun of him.
See what happens?
Giselle. Miss Jazzle.
Giselle, whatever.
She's possessed by her, and she's kissing Quint goodbye.
Oh, now you're going to a whole other place.
I'm going everywhere.
And the alarm went off. So I know
the alarm went off. You're right. Let me just say one thing.
Yeah, say it.
What about that Jello pig? What the hell was that thing?
Oh, that was awesome.
Did you ever see a pig shaped that? I mean, have you ever seen something like that though? An animal shaped like Jello? It was great.
Oh man.
Okay, I had to bring that up.
I like Jello pig.
I got a kick out of Jello.
That's
pig.
actually the name of the score for the movie.
Oh, Galileo Jello pig. Jollo.
Go fuck
Christian,
yourself.
you're a Jollo pig.
Hey, there's always room for a Jollo pig.
Do me a favor and go fuck yourselves.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay. We should rate that shit. Oh, man. Wow. Does anybody want to add something? I think the ending is excellent. I'll always remember this because of the ending being so cool and bizarre and fucked up. For 1961, unbelievable. And that dream she has, that's something that you see in movies nowadays. It's just trippy. Yeah. It's just artsy. It's just cool shit that I was not expecting to see when I sat down and watched this movie. So,
I agree. I agree.
I really like it. I'll tell you, I'm flapping my gums. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10.
You're flapping your gums. Gums.
All right, I'll flap my gums next and just say I agree with you, Dave, and I also gave it a 9 out of 10.
And that it doesn't make the Hall of Fame, boys, but it comes damn close because I gave it a 9 out of 10 as well.
Nice.
Solid 27 inches.
Yeah, buddy. Well, good on you, Christian, for bringing this to the table because he picked both of these movies.
I recommended it. He picked it.
Yeah, well, he picked it.
I'm sorry.
He needs his credit. He needs his credit.
I need something.
You can have all the credit in the world on episode 26 when you get to pick. When you get to pick fucking Picnic at Hanging Cock.
I was just about to say Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Whatever else is going to match up with it, in your opinion.
No,
so
I'm not
you get
picking Picnic.
You can pick whatever you want. You get your shot, man. Christian got this, and he picked. I'm glad he made this pick at least. Well, of course, the next movie I was watching it anyway when the recommendation came up, so I was like, okay.
You know what though? It was
Nice.
it was a good point because I told you I wanted to check the next movie out at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival. For those of you not in the know, and that was just in September. I had no clue. I just assumed we'd see February released before we saw this release. I guess Netflix made a deal for it at TIFF, and here we are. It was released right to Netflix. And here we are watching it a month and change later. And I'm glad to say it because, we'll get to it. I don't want to blow my load quite yet.
Yeah, still a little early. Okay. One thing I want to say. I thought it was funny that suddenly she knows they're possessed. And let's talk about a priest. That was, for 1961, that's just out of control. You never would have saw that. That shocked me. And the fucking bird with a snapped neck was just fucking
under the pillow.
He's keeping him warm under the pillow
for the bird fairy.
Dude, it was creepy, and the way it looked genuine. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Do
Remember,
I
I'm
get a
watching this
shilling?
movie.
I want a shilling for this bird.
Did you know that was actually the bird that was on his head?
Get the fuck out of here!
Yes, it was. I
Tag?
recognized it. That bird had a.
You recognize
Would you stop?
They had a bunch of pigeons there. That was the one that was on his head.
That was the one that was on his head. I
Because
recognized
it shit on
him.
his head, right?
What the fuck? And one more thing for fun. Like I said, I was watching this with two. You know, it's so weird. My mother and my daughter, the three of us, never watch a movie together, and we watched this movie, just the three of us. And when the guy's face comes up to the window, the ghost of Quint, my daughter said it looked like Prince. She kept calling him Prince the rest of the movie. She's like, "Oh, look, it's Prince, back from the dead." She was saying.
Well, it's funny because when he came up to the window, the first thing he said was, "Dearly beloved." He was talking to Miss Jizzle.
And you cursed somebody, by the way. You know how we talk about the curse of exploding heads and how I've cursed people?
Yes.
I forgot to mention this. Did you hear about this, Christian?
No.
Dude, yes. We were on that show, that 1996 show with 22 shots, and Brandon brought up out of nowhere Alexis Arquette. And then Alexis Arquette was dead less than a week later or some shit like that.
Oh, my Lord.
Always killing people. We're always killing people.
I know. We're killing
Not
people
good.
one by one. No, it's not good. So let's just. But I wanted to bring it up, and it was the right moment. I thought about Prince, and I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to bring that up on the show. So anyway, we better get on to our next movie here.
All right, let's go.
You are what?
IMDb.
IMDb. I watch lots of movies about ghosts. Buzz.
I gotta admit, I love this title. I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. 2016, directed by Oz Perkins. A young nurse takes care of an elderly author who lives in a haunted house.
Okay.
Little shout out to Anthony Perkins at the beginning.
Right, for the old house, he said.
Yeah.
Right?
AP.
I was going to ask you guys if you thought that that's what AP was insinuating or referring to. Pardon me. So we're in agreement on that.
And so
I'm going to say something.
Yeah, you go. You blow it. Go right ahead.
I'm not going to blow anything. This has nothing to do with the movie itself or any observation about the movie. I'm making a bold prediction that one person, well, obviously not me, because it's not a prediction, but I'm going to say that one person here is not going to be a big fan of this movie, and it's going to be surprising that they're not, because we all really enjoyed February, Black Coat's Daughter. I hope, we'll see if I'm right. I have a feeling that one of us here is not going to like it, and I don't know why. I just have had that feeling as I watched it. But let's proceed. Let's talk about the pretty thing that you're looking at.
Well, first of all, the way it's shot is so much like February, with staring into a lot of darkness. I love the way this film is shot.
It's very much like February. I do find it lingers a little bit. Like those first couple opening shots are almost energy draining, though. Okay, well, this is a style, but I'm like, this is not off to a good start, in my opinion.
Oh, I loved it. I love the opening monologue.
I did too. I mean, I rewound it and put on the subtitles, but I was so into it, but not even just so much for the words, but the way the voice sounded, that trippy effect that was used on it was just stellar. I mean, it's probably just some simple thing, but I have not seen it used in another movie. I just love the way her voice sounded, that distorted way.
Yeah, I love the way they distorted the ghost, too.
That, too. And
with like plexiglass and all these sort of filmmaking techniques.
I like that, but that was the shot that went on. I was like, this is...
It did go on, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah. But he's got a good style. He definitely has a good style. I love the way he frames people indoor frames. They linger and look at things for
you look around and you swear you see things. Like, I don't know. I was like convinced like I was seeing things, and there was actually like nothing being seen. It's that uncomfortable, that tense and creepy for me.
I'll give you that, and yeah, I don't want to, because if I say the next sentence that I was going to say, it'll ruin my sort of where I'm going to go with the review. It was good. It's funny that this
I think
movie...
Dave already said where you're going to go with your review.
Maybe I was right. Isn't that something if I would be?
It's a well-made film, but I feel it lingers on things and drags things out when it doesn't need to be. And it may, and I could be wrong in this description, may try to be overly confusing through the style of how he wants to present the film, when it's really a pretty straightforward film. And I could be wrong here again, but I found that this is actually more straightforward than February was.
I agree 100%. I thought this was a very simple story. In fact, I think this film is more style over substance.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm not alone with that. I was like a little worried that maybe I missed something here. Because when the movie's done, the movie actually plays out very similar to... Okay, this would be like when M. Night was doing Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, like his way of telling that type of story. This is Osgood Perkins' way of telling a ghost story, meaning that the outcome really is very straightforward, that a ghost story would be told and how it plays out. However, it's the way that he presents the story to you that is different. So that's a very long-winded way to say it's style over substance.
Yeah.
Sorry. But, okay, so did they ever make mention of when this takes place? Because obviously it's like the 80s.
Yeah, I think it's probably like the late 80s, because she does reference Clue at one point.
I say the mid-80s.
Yeah, mid to late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I said the mid-80s, and I liked it, and I liked it for it, and of course the many reasons why, with the telephone and with the TV, and, just as it went on, it was great. And of course she has the Grateful Dead shirt on, which is timeless, but it was very deliberately done, and I love Osgood Perkins even more now.
Yeah.
Just for something that simple. This dude, obviously, he does trippy work. Psychedelics definitely affect his eye. And I completely dig it. I love the style. I feel like with this guy, this is what Rob Zombie wishes he could be, because they both have a good visual style. But Rob Zombie doesn't have two movies like February and like this one, where Lords of Salem comes close.
Lords of Salem would be the only one that I would say. His other ones are too visceral and too fast paced, and I don't think his subtlety came through a little bit more in Lords of Salem.
Lords was the one. Like, I was hoping he was going to continue on in that direction. That's what made 31 such a disappointment. Back to that, but it was like, I think that he wants to go on to something else, and they both have artistic flair behind the camera. They have something going there with the music. They both know how to use their music.
Oh,
Again,
the music was great in this.
just like it was in February. And you guys know that this is his brother. This is another Perkins doing this, and this is something new for him that he hasn't done film scores before. He's helping his brother make films. Yeah, he had an interview on Shockwaves about this, about both movies, a couple of weeks ago. Osgood Perkins, and I recommend checking that out. Yeah, he was talking about that.
This movie, you almost feel like it's trying to play out like, is this a ghost movie? Is this a psychological film? That's all like, but it really at the end, it's not. Like I think they pretty much explain it. And
I think they do too.
So
I'm glad they did.
This one, well, no, this one doesn't leave it like up in the air, like for interpretation. It's pretty much explained out, and that's why I'm saying I find that it's very leisurely paced. And did it need to be as leisurely paced? I'm not saying it destroyed the movie by any means. Just so you know, and whether this is a spoiler, I enjoyed this movie. I'm just saying that I just found it frustrating because I'm like, oh, this could have been sped up a little bit just to get to where it needed to go a little bit faster. But it does play with creepiness, and the creepiness plays out very similar to The Innocents. Like the way the shots are done with floating by and whatnot. This one's more special effects oriented, but still subtly done. Whereas The Innocents, I think, were all practical in the sense of like it was literally camera tricks done on the set at the time. Like when the guy comes down to the window, it wasn't like superimposed in. He literally, the way they did it was just, tricks of the trade at the time, in-camera effects done right there on the set. This is like special effects, but still not an overblown Hollywood production style. Very, very, very subtly done.
I thought Ruth Wilson was great. I love her. I really do.
That's the old woman?
No, that's
that's our lead.
That's our lead. Yeah.
Lily.
Lily. Yeah. She's very big right now. She's a well-known A-list actress.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's on a show called The Affair. I actually don't watch it, but if you have a chance to,
my wife loves it.
There's a show called Luther. There was a show called Luther with Idris Elba. She was on that show, and her character on that.
Elba? Jessica Elba?
Idris Elba.
Oh, I got excited, because if you were going to say this chick and Jessica Elba were on it, I was going to watch it. But
no, but her character in Luther, amazing.
Really?
Alice. Check out Alice.
She did good, man. She did good, and she's relatable.
Great. She's great.
She kind of reminded me in the beginning a little bit of Angela Bettis and May. A little bit. Okay. Not complete, just her personality a little bit. Not awkward, just, I don't know. And of course she had to do that because of the type of movie it is. Yeah. But the kind of things she would say to herself a few times and things like that. And especially when she had the glasses on when she was on the phone with her friend. A little bit like May. But not awkward. Not like socially awkward the way May was, but
no, I just love it because they kind of give you so much at the beginning just with the monologue. It's just
dude, yeah.
They kind of give you everything you need to know that she's going into this house of death. I mean, even if you wanted to argue the ghost aspect of the story, which you really can't, it's there. Just the idea that she's a hospice nurse, obviously she's basically just caring for this person until this person dies. Providing comfort. So it is a house of death in that sense as well. So she's kind of rotting away.
Rotting, that's the word. Rot. Yeah. This is how you rot.
She's kind of rotting away from the minute she gets into that house because it's a house of death.
And well, she straight up tells you she's dead in a year.
Yeah. Which is actually cool. Which is actually cool because that line was very creepy. 3 days ago, I turned 28. I will never turn 29. Yeah. I was like, oh, man. Fuck. That's scary.
It's great, and I love how we're going right from the beginning to the end with what she says, but I like how she says similar things about how fall will never come. I felt like fall would never come.
Yeah,
it didn't. Yeah. Oh, that's cryptic. That's good shit. And this movie. Here's what's perfect about this movie: the way things are interwoven with intent. Like it's about a writer, right?
Yeah.
It's about this author, this woman that wrote all these books, and one book in particular, The Lady in the Walls. That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the lady in the walls. That in particular. So we're hearing her narration, or it's probably the wrong word, but her words from the book, and as a result of that, that is why Lily is narrating this way throughout the film, and that's why we see Polly, the character / ghost, doing it later.
Yes.
And that it's done intentionally, and I like that. Like in a regular movie, it wouldn't work. And that's when I was first watching, I was thinking like what Christian said. In the beginning, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be crazy artsy. Yeah, the last movie was artsy and everything else, but this might be off hook. It might be too much, I was thinking. And I had to rewind and put on the subs and see what this is. But upon second watch, even by the time I finished the first watch, but the second confirmed it. It was being narrated that way for a reason. It was almost like we're reading a book. At first I thought it was kind of like they were trying to be poetic with it. But I think the whole motif of the movie is that this, what's the old lady's name? She's an author. Iris Blum. And therefore, it's almost like reading this girl's, Lily's, if she could write.
Yeah.
And she wanted to leave the house to a writer. And maybe I'm looking too deeply into it, but these are just,
that's perfect, because it's like at one point when we were seeing the flashback of Iris, writing the story, she's writing the story of Polly, narrating what Polly has told her. Polly's narrating what she went through, and then Lily is narrating what she's going through.
I love the story, and I guess it is slow, but I found that I have an affinity for that now. And as long as I'm comfortable with what's going on, and I like what I see visually, and the story is unfolding in a leisurely enough pace for me to keep me interested, I have no complaints. I can understand why people would complain. Some people say it's too slow. I can see that. As I'm watching it, the thought never occurs to me, though. But that's me.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I also felt like it wasn't, even though I get the pacing feels slow, but that just adds to like the haunting, creepy atmosphere of it.
Yeah, man.
And the tone of it. It almost feels like, even the same thing with February, it feels like he's like telling these stories in slow motion. Like I almost feel like I'm not awake while I'm watching it. Like it's frightening. Got a very uneasy feeling watching this film.
I not as much as February, but it's there.
Not as much. I might be with you with that. Not as much as February, but
I agree.
But you're right, and it's there. Like it's a thumbprint. It's almost like if she's talking on the phone here. The phone just got yanked out of her hands, and the way that he's framed. Some of the scenes here are fantastic. What do you think the symbolism is? Because I don't know. I'm asking about the chairs upside down. I mean, I know they're being hung up.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I knew when you said the symbol. First of all, I was going to ask you, because the first time I saw it, I thought that chair, I'm like, this is going to be an amazing film that I've never seen before. Because I started thinking, I'm like, a movie's never done this. I thought that subtly they were... It was like a paranormal, like were poltergeist or ghosts in the house, and that chair was hanging upside down because it just happened that moment when she was on the phone, and maybe I wasn't paying attention because of my ADHD, and then maybe she turned around and the chair was upside down. So I'm sitting there, like almost on the edge of my seat, saying, "What the fuck's gonna happen here?" And then nothing becomes of it. Then the next day she's on the phone again, and you can see the strings, and it's hanging there for a reason. So I was going to ask you guys what you thought. Did you have that effect that I had? Did you think that it went there by itself the first time you saw it, or no?
There was one scene, and again, I wasn't sure if I wasn't paying attention because that chair's upside down. What's going on? But then I'm like, oh no, it's on the wall. But then it was just the way that it was framed in a bunch of shots where you see a couple different chairs on the wall there, and I was just like, what's the symbolism of that? I don't know.
Space. I think it's no symbolism. I just think it's some people do that for space and they take it down.
Yeah, well, remember,
that's what I came with. I hate to answer a
question
with a question.
The house was built in 1812. Don't forget. So it's an old style. The chair's kind of hanging up on the pegs. It's a great shot. I noticed it immediately. I was like ooh, what is that? What's going on here? But
so you thought maybe like what I thought, like there was a ghost doing that.
I actually didn't think anything ghostly was going to come of it. Okay. I thought if anything, it would just be maybe slightly symbolic of her world being turned upside down. But I wouldn't even go that far because it just wouldn't.
I don't know. So
I think it's just a mess with you. I mean, it's just a mess.
Maybe just symbolism that there is something otherworldly or opposite, which would be like like the netherworld or whatnot. Just like the carpet flip over, they go back to that a couple times as well.
It does pay off in a way, though.
Yeah.
It does pay off in not the actual part of the carpet that was flipped, but that carpet in general. There is some symbolism there, you know? I guess we'll get to it in spoilers if you don't know what I mean. But
No, I know.
Because I was looking for it this time. I was thinking the second time that something was going to happen on that part of the rug, and I just missed it the first time because I was too busy looking at something else, you know? But it didn't. Then I watched it, I'm like, oh, no, that part of the rug, nothing came into play. But that rug, there is something going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's important. I don't know.
And the symbolism of the black mold. Black mold, she's worried about black mold. There's that vision with it, which is really haunting, and it definitely...
Oh, with her arms when they're all, like, boiled over. And,
I like the idea of the black mold. And again, that's a little bit more straightforward. But this one is good because I thought the movie was, maybe because I saw February first, I thought this movie was going to go for more of a mind fuck. And I'm not saying it's not, but I meant like they were really going to play with, is it all in her head? Is it not all in her head? It's not about that really at all. And that's the thing that threw me off. I was expecting it to be like, maybe more like how we were just describing The Innocents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the way it ended, you were hoping it was going to be more ambiguous?
Well, no, I think that was the expectation of the movie I was going into because of what I got out of February and how February was presented to us and whatnot. And this one is very, like I said, we had those long shots and very leisurely, and there's some haunting imagery. But once again, I'm sounding like a broken record here, it's a very straightforward film. So the way the story is told plays out quite well. I'm not saying it's bad for that reason. I'm just saying I think I was bamboozled into thinking that this was going to be a little bit more of a puzzle to figure out.
You know, I'm not sure what I thought, but I thought, just the fact with all the monologue going on, especially, at the beginning saying that, ghosts have no ties to the house that they die in, they can go at any time. I thought that was very clever and unique. Usually it's, the spirit can't escape. And then they get into the whole talk of the body, body versus soul and all that, and trying to see the last moments of your life, but you can't because, it's like looking through a soaked window. Yeah, man, that was good shit. It was very poetic.
It was, and I dig it for it. Most of it worked, and like I said, I could...
Oh, Dave, you broke up there.
It's a novel.
You sound like you got a computer cock in your mouth. The last sentence you said totally broke up. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You guys kept breaking up, so I knew I was in trouble when nobody was responding. Because usually if one person breaks up and the other person doesn't say anything, then you're the guy that has the issue, Hey, what was my last thought? What was the last...
Just repeat it, just without the penis in your mouth this time.
That's where I could see some people may have complained about it being too artsy with the way they spoke and how it was poetic and it wasn't their cup of tea. But like I said, I think it makes sense because of the woman is a writer, and it's the motif of the movie. It's okay that they talk that way in this movie. If there wasn't any of that, I could see a reason to gripe, but I think that was done intentionally. It's just the kind of movie it is, where people speak that way because when you read descriptive things in the book, and when you did see parts from that book, Polly something came into this world the way she went out of it. And that whole thing, so it's like you're reading a book when you hear them narrate. And it's about books, so I think it fits that way, And all I was expecting when I sat down to watch this movie, I was just hoping that it was going to be visually looked as good as February, and it was going to have, atmosphere like February did.
Oh, visually and atmosphere, this movie is a 10.
It did have that, absolutely, just like February did.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So that's all I expected. I heard, because of Shockwaves, I heard them say that it was mostly a one-person show, so I knew that going into it, and I knew it was Ghost, so I was expecting, okay, maybe it's going to be an Innkeeper's House of the Devil type thing, to a degree. In a way, it kind of was, but I think this is better than those movies. I'll tell you that. I mean, I guess you can compare it more to The Innkeepers because that's Ghost, but I think this is definitely, they do what they have to do. This is a better movie than The Innkeepers, definitely.
Interesting. You see, Rose was in it from February. She played Polly.
I thought that she was familiar. At first, I thought that's not Emma, is it? So, but then
No.
remember how we had that discussion on
Yeah.
February? How they all looked alike.
Yeah, it was the other one.
So it was the brunette
Yes.
who we said looked a little bit like Emma at first. You thought it was her with brunette with brown hair.
Yeah.
And now she has blonde hair and she looked a little bit like Emma to me at first when I saw her profile. I'm like, wait a minute, she's not advertised, but
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster for it, and it does look like Emma Roberts.
you guys know that Emma Roberts is the reason that what's her name, Pipka or Shipka, the girl that played the other girl in February.
Kiernan Shipka.
Yeah, she got the part because Osgood hired her, and then she recommended Shipka for the part. And then
Nice.
they said, okay, we'll bring her in. And yeah, sure enough. So that was cool. Anyway, this is all stuff I picked up on Shockwaves. So whatever. But the whole thing about rot, that was an ongoing thing. And again, back to that, they are free to go. That's a fucking scary thing. That's fucked up. That the ghosts are not trapped there. They're free to go. They want to stay there to freaking feed off their last living moments. Or their dying moments, whatever it is. They still want to experience that. They're free to go and they don't. So that's how they choose to rot. That is fucking... And the whole rot thing goes through the whole movie. With the wall, with the freaking... Remember later on when they find that... when she finds Polly's box and she opens it up and... Yeah, and the box itself in the one corner. It was almost as if it had been rained on or something and it was getting the mold. Yeah, so... A lot going on, man. A lot going on. Should we go into spoilers?
Am I wrong in thinking there's only like two things really to spoil?
Yeah, there's not much to spoil.
I mean, as the movie progresses, it's just what her thought process of what's in the paneling and the walls, and I think just the last moments of the movie.
Yeah, and it
Right.
doesn't really hide that stuff from you. It's out there. You kind of. You know what's going on. It's
Which
just
she
the
tells
way
you at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, you know everything that's going. I mean, everybody is narrating what has happened to them or what's going to happen to them. It's just the build up to it. It's just so perfectly paced, in my opinion, and so creepy and atmospheric.
I dig it. I dig the whole thing about the book, The Lady in the Walls, and how they tell her, you know, because she keeps getting okay. Let's let the listeners know something more than we're saying here. This girl that's you know, like you said, she's taking care of her because what do you think? What do you, she has dementia or something?
Yeah, she probably has dementia. Yeah,
something. Because she's not that old. You know what I mean? And she even says later that physically she's fine. Just mentally she's not there. So they call hospice for that, which is kind of weird, but they do. And she ends up staying 11 months that we know of, and it could have been longer. You know, but this is going on. But for whatever reason, the woman she's taking care of keeps calling her Polly, and her name is not Polly. And then she asks the guy. This guy comes over occasionally. I guess he's kind of like the executor of the estate, maybe.
Yeah.
Something of that nature.
Mr. Wax Cap.
Wax Cap, yeah.
I love Bob Balaban. He's so good.
Yeah, he is good, definitely.
Another underrated actor.
Yeah, he's good in this movie. I don't know what else he's from, but
he does all like the Christopher Guest films and stuff. He's great. He's very funny.
Very comedic, actually. But like dry, very dry. Like
I can see that. But like she asks him, "Who's Polly?" You know, it's like, well, the only Polly I could think of is the one that's in her book, and it was her most famous book. And then he says, this book about Lady in the Walls, about this Polly, it's known for her leaving out the ending because she said that it was too horrific, and she was obligated to be true to the subject and to be true to Polly. So the book reads like, you know, a ghost told me these stories, and I'm telling you this story.
Yeah,
that's what this book is, Lady in the Walls, and that's what it's about. But she either A, never got the ending from Polly, or B, got it and didn't want to share it. That's the way it's spelled out in the book, and that is the way it's spelled out in the film too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's answered towards by the end of the film. You kind of get the answer to that.
Right. So she keeps calling her Polly, and you know, she doesn't want to play along with it at first because she's unsure what to do and everything else, and then she gets curious, and then she starts seeing her things, and little things are happening to her. But unlike other ghost stories, you know what I mean? This is definitely not.
You know what the great thing was too about Paula Prentice's character? I mean, even though she was just kind of really out of it the whole movie, like even when she was talking to Lily and calling her Polly, like there were a couple of occasions where it almost looked like she was looking past Lily and actually talking to Polly.
Really?
Yeah, I noticed that a few times because she didn't always look at her.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I never brought too much into that because of her condition.
Yeah,
but you might be right.
I didn't pick up on that, but yeah.
I thought of that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Then we had the thumping going on. We don't know why. Thump.
Yeah, and then I love the way the thumping, the metal, like clinging.
Yeah.
You hear all these noises, and it plays out really well.
It's getting worse on the wall, and she tries to get it fixed. But she talks to that guy, Mr. Waxhead, or whatever that his name is. And
Wax Cap.
Wax Cap.
Waxhead.
The Waxhead.
She's like, yeah, there's mold here or something, and it might not be good for us to breathe and everything else. And he kind of blows it off and figures they're not going to be there much longer. And it's getting more and more at this wall, and the same wall there's thumping going on, and she can't figure out why. So that becomes the mystery, and then she gets into the book. The lady in the walls. And did you guys notice that the walls on the book are the same walls that are in the house?
Yep.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
Yeah, good shit. And that song they keep playing, the song is called Keep Coming Back Like a Song. And it's almost like that song is making a statement. If you listen, the reason I know the lyrics is because I put on the subs on Netflix. So it's like they're, once again, it's talking about the movie. The ghost keeps coming back like a song. Her memory keeps coming back like a song, and she keeps sticking around. And that's what I got out of it anyway. That's what they were doing. And the sound design, holy fuck. Let me say one thing. And boy, I'm about a year ago, I bought this sound bar. I spent like $1,000. I got this sound bar, right? I wanted to have wireless everything. I wanted to have surround sound the right way, but the wireless technology still was not there. And I was renting a house, so I wasn't about to wire up my house with surround sound. So long story short, I bought this sound bar with the bass box and all this stuff. And I thought it's worked really good so far, and it does sound like it's surround. And some things I'm like, wow, these things really do work the way they're supposed to. Which this day and age doesn't usually happen for me. But anyway. Where I'm staying right now, I'm in this bedroom in this apartment, and I have this in my apartment, and the sound bar, it's fucking extraordinary no matter what size room you're in, because I'm watching this movie, and these crickets are chirping, and it literally sounded like there was crickets outside my house. It sounded so good, and I'm not saying it's because I have an amazing fucking piece here. It's the sound design of the movie, is what I'm saying. But you notice if of course, the better equipment you have, it's going to sound better, but they were doing certain things with the sound design in this movie and different scenes, music, sounds, and man, I tell you.
Yeah, the sound of Lily when she, towards the end. Oh my! I got genuinely frightening.
Me too. I know. Even when she sees that reflection, when she first sees what she sees, and you see
you know what's coming. It's not a jump scare at all, but it still shakes you to your core.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was watching that with the kids, and we were all just sort of paralyzed for a second there. And it's really well done, and it's very subtle scares. If you want Conjuring 2, this is not the movie for you. And I say that what I mean by that is not overt crosses turning upside down, like people jumping out of the shadows and whatnot. It's a lot more subtle. Get it under your skin, like he did in February. I don't feel like he was as successful with this. It's still good. It still works. It's still like you still have to check it out. I just feel February was a superior film of the two, but. Hey, we're talking Mike Flanagan because he's got 5 on his belt. Here's Osgood with 2 horror films, and he's 2 for 2 in my books.
Yeah, I mean, I just personally prefer February just because it was
absolutely
there was a lot more story there. This is a very simple story, but it is just so immaculately done.
Yeah, I'm with you. Immaculately done. Yes, and that's weird. We all liked it. We all preferred February, but we all say that.
But we gave really high scores to February too, and I actually think I gave the lowest score to February, and towards the end of the year, that's going to be right at the top of my list in terms of rewatches.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we were. I was 9 and
we
a half.
were-
I think Christian was too.
Yeah,
Right?
and I
Yeah.
actually prevented it from making the Hall of Fame by giving it 8.5 at the time.
Right.
So this is a film. That's a film that could potentially get into the Hall of Fame after I watch it again.
And yeah, definitely. But yes, this is good too. Gee, what else is there? There's a lot, but I mean, we can't keep.
I say we just go right to spoilers because I want to hear what you were talking about with something you mentioned earlier.
Something I was talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
5, 4. Oh, we got to give our head grades first.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna whatever. Full head explosion again.
Yeah, I don't know what my, I want to say Full Head Explosion too, just because I'm so impressed with the style of this film. I don't know if my grading is going to necessarily match up with a Full Head Explosion, but I felt that.
Well, sorry, Brendan, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I was done. I'm sort of thinking out loud.
Yeah, no, it's okay. And I'm half head exploded. Sorry, I thought we weren't going into spoilers. I thought we were coming to the end of the review. I thought we just figured there was nothing really to spoil because it's kind of all given out to you. But that's okay. We can go into spoilers, but I'm at half head explode.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Miranda had a question, so we may as well. So
Yeah,
5, 4,
it's-
3, 2, 1, shoot.
yeah, I just wanted to hear your interpretation of the carpet thing, because I'm not sure I completely understood what you were referencing earlier when you said it. It plays back in.
Well, that's where she eventually dies.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there was. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But
Yeah.
see, I thought that maybe because the first time I saw it, I was so busy with the shock aspect of it that I didn't remember every detail of that scene. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe something happens. Maybe she turns and she trips over that part of the rug or something. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
was waiting to see. So lo and behold, that does not come to fruition in that respect, but it was still an indication of something that took place on that rug, and that's the last time you see her alive, or that's where she is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I love the fact
So-
that it starts at the end. I mean, the opening shot is her watching the kids who now live in the house.
Is it? I thought the opening girl, and then I realized the narration was Lily.
Yeah, the
Well, I guess
narration
it
is
is her.
the narration is Lily, and it's panning over the children in bed, and then at the end, it shows the
Oh,
kid go
that
to the
scene, yes.
Yeah.
That I
And
know.
then
I think you meant the girl walking backwards. About that
Oh, no.
freaky shit, though.
Oh,
About how
that's
her feet are
freaky
backwards and her
shit.
body's
Yeah.
forward, and the woman says, "You turned your back so many times on me
Oh.
that's why that happened."
so poetic and creepy.
Yes, it
Turned your
is.
back so many times on me.
What do you
No,
expect from an author? It makes sense that she speaks that
No,
way,
I
too.
love it. I really
Yeah.
love it. I'm liking it more and more from our discussion of it.
Oh,
too.
dude. And the flashbacks to when she was writing the novel, and
Yeah.
the younger version of her and shit, and then at the very end, how they're all kind of in the same house, almost like American Story Murder House. This is like Ju-on or that or something where if you die in the house, you stay in the house.
Yeah, and the one
I
one
like
thing
that.
I want to say is obviously they both stick around at the house at the end, Lily and Polly.
Yes.
Iris is not there. And the reason why Iris, I believe, is not there, and this is how I interpreted it, is remember the scene when towards the
She
end
whispers
when
to her?
exactly, I think she's telling her the
Yeah.
ending. I think she's giving her the ending to her book, and she's able to move on.
Wow. That's really cool. I just took it as that she felt neglected because she kept telling the girl that she thought was Polly, hey, why aren't you giving me shit? Why aren't you giving me more? You're just here to torment me. I don't know what. She was just upset about it. I
Yeah.
thought she was giving her some type of peace at the end.
I think she-
just showing up.
I think she knew she was gonna die. She's like, okay, I'll give her what she needs to move on. She can't move on. Lily doesn't want to move on, but
Wow.
but
Even the
Iris
prettiest things rot.
Ah. awesome.
Yeah, there's so many things. This is the
Yeah.
great scary climax, the fucking music and the shot going on there, the
Yeah.
fucking just good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Is there anything else anybody wants to add before we give our numbers?
An Oz good job.
Check it out on Netflix. It's on Canadian Netflix. It's on American Netflix. I don't know if it's on Finland Netflix, but Marco,
Yeah,
you tell us
right.
if it's on Finland Netflix.
Right, man. Why can't they bring? By the way, February,
Finnish
and it's
Netflix.
going. Even though it's called Black Coat's Daughter, they're calling it. It's going to be released as Black Coat's Daughter. It's already on Netflix in the UK as February. Weird, huh?
Is it on Amazon
No, it's
streaming
nowhere.
now? It's not.
No.
I could have sworn I saw it somewhere. No.
Maybe
Okay.
it happened since last week. I didn't realize it, but when I listened to Shockwaves last Friday, When he was being interviewed, he said, he goes, it's not out yet, but it's coming out, but it's on Netflix now under the February name. And he wanted it to be February. They told him it was going to Black Coat's daughter, but they released it as February on the Netflix. But whatever.
On the Netflix.
Yep, I know. As soon as I said it, I knew. I was like, oh boy, the Netflix. Back in the day, I was on the Netflix. Yeah.
Twittering the twatter.
The Twitter and the Twitter and the Netflix.
Me and Lipschitz watching the Netflix.
First Lipschitz reference.
Yep. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I'll tell you right now. I love the movie. I gave February a 9.5. I'm not coming in quite that high, but Osgood Perkins is 2 for 2. Love his style. Rock on. 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep.
You know, the funny thing is, I was hovering in the 7.5 to 8 range.
Wow.
Which is why I wasn't quite confident in saying full head explosion. But the more we talked about it, the more I liked it. I was probably going to come in at an 8, but the more we talked about it, the more I appreciate this film, and I had to come in at 8.5. And this in February are going to be 2 critical rewatches at the end of the year to see if and where they place in the top 10 or top 25, because I'm going to do the top 25 this year.
Cool. Christian, what you got, man?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done, very leisurely paced, like we mentioned. That goes without saying, I guess, at this point. And I came in at 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Okay, not bad. See, you were the one. When I said somebody was not going to like it as much, it was you, but I thought, I was hoping I was wrong. And it played out the perfect way. I was kind of right, because of the 3 of us, you liked it the least, but you still gave it props with the 7.5. I was just hoping you weren't going to come in with like a 5 or some shit.
Yeah, no, I'm actually surprised. I thought, if anything, Christian was going to come in like 6.5, because I was literally...
You thought that
like,
too? Wow.
I was literally at like 7.5 after watching it last night, and then I watched it again before we started recording, and was paying extra close attention to more stuff, and enjoyed it a little more, and bumped it up to 8, and then we started talking, and then it went up to 8.5.
I tell you what, I wish I still did drugs, because this is a trippy ass movie.
Oh, I'd have a heart
attack.
attack. I'd have a heart attack at the Lily scream if I was on drugs at that point. That would be genuine. That was genuinely frightening.
Just the trippy visuals and the voice, the way that voice sounds sometimes, and the way things are illuminated, and how sometimes he blurs shit out. It's just real trippy shit. It's
what
real.
What was she like chewing on as a ghost when you see her? Doesn't it look like she has like something coming out of her mouth?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I
Ghost
thought that too, but that was ghost cum.
Ghost cum.
From the ghost shirt.
Gum.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, from Miss Jizzle.
Yeah.
Ghost cum from Miss Jizzle. No,
Right.
Actually, it would be
That
ghost
should be-
cum from Quint. He's a ghost. Yeah.
That should be the name of our first movie.
Ghost cum.
Ghosts come from Miss Jizzle.
Very subtle. It's an art film.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's get moving on here.
Successful show. Those were 2 good films. Very good picks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, good job, Christian. Yeah, absolutely.
Two really good films. I'm finally glad I could say I saw The Innocence. Innocence. Hey, is it the same word as saying it with ENCE or TS? Innocence?
Oh, yeah. I guess the pronunciation's going to be very similar.
Innocence.
Here we go with
You
pronunciation.
keep wriggling that around your head. Wriggling that. I don't even know what I'm saying.
The Ringling, baby. Go ahead, baby.
Next show will be our Italian Galileo show. Sorry.
You son of a bitch.
Oh shit! Yeah, speaking of next show, yeah, it's 25. I guess we're gonna celebrate that show. Woo. So I think you guys want to do that thing where we put a trilogy out there and let them vote.
Yeah, I say we brainstorm it between us and put a couple of trilogies out there and let the listeners choose.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, yeah, that'll be fun, but just 3. It's got to be. I don't care what it is. It could be any damn thing.
Yeah.
We said we're not going to talk certain movies, but if they get voted on, we will do it. We'll do one.
And we should pick the choices that we want to put out there. Pick whatever.
Yeah, we'll come
3
up
to
with
5
like
choices, 5 choices or something like that.
I think we should do like a 10 or 12 choices.
10 or 12? All right, just as long as we don't have anything on there that we don't really want to do.
Well, yeah, we'll have. We'll figure that out, guys. We'll do
Okay.
that. All right. So
Cool.
yeah, so 25 will be a celebration. We'll do Facebook Live because we're celebrating. So that's what we're gonna do.
Will you be able to handle Facebook Live and not go all giddy and crazy like you did
Oh.
last time?
I figured it all out now, man. Yeah, the first time was just getting to know you. Now I'm in. It's all good.
Now he's going for
Awesome.
anal.
Okay, the night now we go right for full on anal penetration.
Yeah, and on that note, Exploding Heads, episode 24 is out. 25 is next. Check us out on Facebook. Just type in Exploding Heads. I don't have to give you the whole address. Just go to Facebook and type it in. And it's a group page and it's growing, so come on in. We'll accept all y'all. And y'all, what the fuck? That's all. iTunes. Get on the iTunes. Get on iTunes, please. Rate us. Give us a 5-star. Have something nice to say. You'll get it on the drawing. And that's it. At EH Horror Podcast is Twitter. And don't forget about Horrorphilia. And subscribe. And all that good stuff. We're going to be out of here. Yeah. Guys, have a happy Halloween. You too.
Yeah. It's Halloween.
Thank
everybody.
you. It is Halloween. Happy
Ooh,
Halloween,
happy
everyone.
Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween. Wow.
Happy Halloweeny.
No more days to Halloween. Halloween. No more days to Halloween.
No.
It's have a happy Halloween at this point.
It's happy Halloween.
Oh, have a happy Halloween, isn't it?
Yeah, well, no, it's happy.
I'm
Let's
ready.
go.
I'm right. We all know it.
You think it's have a happy Halloween?
And have
have a happy-
yourself
It's
a
happy.
happy little Halloween.
Brandon, you're out. You're
Yeah.
out. You're just supposed to do the hum. That's all you're good for with that song.
I can't.
You're not even good for that. I stand corrected. Listeners, we don't have to ask the listeners. Next time we'll know for sure. We'll play it. It's happy Halloween, Christian. I'm sorry.
Happy
I have to
happy
disagree.
Halloween. Really? I thought it was have a happy Halloween.
No,
I wish it was.
I
Sounds
think
better.
it does sound better, but I think Dave's right. I think it is happy Halloween.
We'll play it next show. I could do it now, but it's too late. I'm not going to fumble through my iPod. So,
You already fumbled through this whole show. Why fumble through anything else? Hey.
But he comes out with a joke.
There you go. So
I
let's
leave
get
this. I leave this world the same way I came into it, with a joke.
covered in blood.
Covered in blood, full of jokes.
Oh.
Okay. Let's get the hell out of here. I'm going to say goodnight. What are you guys going to say?
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.